to the Edward White Audio Thoughts.
Hello.
Cat Smart, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you do? What's your job role? What do you do?
That's a very good question. No, very, very simple. I am a personal trainer. So I'm a personal trainer and group trainer. So I train people on one-to-one basis, two-on-one basis, and group sessions as well. So it can be kind of anywhere between 10 to 20 plus people at one time, which can be quite hard to control.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shouting. Everybody listen.
So how long have you been doing the fitness thing?
The fitness thing. Do you want to know like the fitness thing or just personal training?
No, like the fitness thing. When did you get the fitness bug? I think you either get it from school or it kind of comes a little bit later in life, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess this is a hard one because in school I'd say I was a little bit sporty. I was more musical, but I was always like that, just about sitting average across kind of netball, hockey, running. I weirdly held the school PB for the 200 meters and the long jump. I don't know why I had the long jump. If you saw my long jump now, you'd be like, girl, why have you got that? So I had those. And then when left school, literally did no sport.
No.
I would say I went off traveling and I perhaps ballooned. I remember my mum saying to me, darling, you're looking a little, and I was like, what are you on about? Anyway, so I went to kind of the bigger side of things, and then suddenly out of
how
nowhere,
big? Like,
so at my heaviest, gosh, I was, I think, just under 13 stone.
Okay.
So I was probably size 14, and that was like pushing it in clothes, size 14, kind of creeping on a 16. And I think for a lot of people, they look at me now and they go, no, you weren't, or whatever else, because I've spent so many years. But anyway, came back from that.
what sort of age was that?
That was around 18, 19.
Okay.
Just for clarity, I am approaching my 30th birthday now. It's like doom and gloom.
Yeah.
No, not at all. And then, so then I started working in an office and started taking my friends to the gym, and basically they would be like, what should we do? So I was like, well, let's do this.
Yeah.
Started training, then kind of, like you say, got the bug for it. I'd say actually, we might touch into this in some questions that you ask, but I think I got too much of the bug, if you know what I mean. So I've gone from one extreme of being at the bigger end to suddenly going complete polar opposite to over-exercising, under-eating, like all of this kind of stuff. Anyway, then ended up going into a personal training gym, which I work at now, having personal training myself with a friend of mine. And then obviously the ball just kept rolling from there. And then I was like, I think I want to be a personal trainer. And at the time, my PT at the time said to me, whatever you do, don't become a PT. And I was like, but why?
Yeah.
But, and anyway, so I was like, well, if someone tells me not to do something, of course, I'm going to do it. And I had an opportunity and I took it. So I guess, young age, I did enjoy sport, but I was very kind of average at it. And then obviously fluctuated from being slightly bigger and then going to the polar opposite extreme of, being really, really small, too small, in fact.
Yeah.
And then getting to the point where I am now.
What weight is too small? Like,
it wasn't so much a weight, it was more a lifestyle, I'd say.
Okay.
Because it was like, I wouldn't go out to socialise, I wouldn't drink alcohol, I wouldn't go out to eat. I was scared to eat certain foods. Like, it was
fear-based sort of.
Yeah. And it was this kind of like petrified kind of, I'm going to gain weight if I eat so much as anything that's determined as bad. But I will come on to this later, that there are no bad foods.
No.
It's the way in which, you consume and whatnot. So so I've had kind of pretty much a very yo-yo kind of introduction, I guess. But now I'd say, the last 5 years is, well, how long I've been a personal trainer, I realised that the other day. I was like, oh, it's my 5-year anniversary. So 5 years of stability is what I'd say. So
Okay. How did you feel when your mum did say about you're overweight?
Do you know what? So this is going to be really interesting if my mum listens to this. She can take some points away from this. She has always been the first to call me out on perhaps my weight. And when she said it, I was like...
in what way did she say it? Because I think that's important.
It was, darling, you're looking a bit chunky. Have you been eating a lot, kind of thing? And I was no, I think it's just the camera angle.
Yeah.
I was very much in denial. I was 18, 19, living my best life, eating McDonald's 3-4 times a day. I'd eat it for breakfast, I'd have it for lunch, I'd go out for dinner, go out, get absolutely hammered, and then eat it drunk on the way home as well. I mean, you know, that's impressive. And that's an impressive amount of calories, but I was doing that quite consistently. You know, consistency is key, as I say. But in terms of that, she's always been the first to kind of call me on those sorts of things. And then when I went the other way, she's like, "Oh, darling, you're looking terribly skinny." And I'm like,
okay,
what do you want? Like, you know, and in terms of feelings, I guess that instance, I was kind of in denial. And then as, you know, we fluctuate through weight throughout the years and whatnot. And
even like how much water you have, isn't it? It fluctuates so much.
Yeah, exactly. And weight isn't actually a very good measure because it can fluctuate so much, especially for females as well, with hormones, etc. But yeah, no, I was, I guess it's one of those. I was kind of a little bit like, well, hang on a minute, the cheek of it. Like, this. But then sometimes I guess in some ways it could be hurtful, but other ways it was kind of the boost that I needed to go, oh, hang on a minute, let me look at my lifestyle. And
introspective kind of.
Exactly. Yeah. So whilst, yes, it's not the best from your mother saying, excuse me, I kind of guess it was better that it came from her than anyone else.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm just thinking, the kind of point that I want to get at is like fat shaming is seen as a bad thing.
Yeah.
When there's people like Bill Burr, who's the comedian, I'm not sure if you heard of him.
Yes.
He'll do like a special and then people will comment and say, "Oh, you're fat," and then he'll like lose loads of weight because he just gets kind of shamed into it.
Yeah.
But in a funny way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So he's probably using comedy to kind of mask some of the insecurity. Because it is 100% an insecurity for so many people, you know. I spent years kind of fluctuating and going through different kind of weights and sizes and whatever else. And sometimes, you know, I think we go through different stages in our life where we accept ourselves at certain weights and then we go, well, actually, that's not right for now and I need to change that. And, you know, especially lockdown, I lived with my parents and they would cook a meal, and I mean this, Ed. They'd cook a meal big enough for 8 people. My mum would eat half a portion. My dad would eat 1 portion, and they would give the rest to me.
Really?
And I gained 10 kilos.
Did you?
Yeah. And, you know, and then it got to the point where I was like, hang on a minute. And I realised, I was like, I want to make a change here.
Yeah.
And I was like, right. And actually it was that point, and this was only a couple of years ago, obviously, because of the pandemic, where I was like, now's your time to make your change. And I looked at my life as a whole, rather than just going in terms of like my weight or, you know, whatever
aesthetics
else. It was more performance led, because I was like, I'm too heavy to do some of the stuff that I want to do. So it wasn't like, you know, I wasn't shamed for being that slight bit bigger. It was not a problem. Although my mum was the first to call me out on that one as well.
Good old mum.
Mum, love you. If you're watching this, love you. But you're the first to call me out. So I guess it's different for everyone. But I think it is a thing of, I do think fat shaming, I don't think it should be a thing, but also skinny shaming. Because I remember, you know, people turn around to people who are like, "Oh, you're so skinny." And they don't realise, because they think, well, skinny isn't bad.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, in society, like, if you're skinny, you know, it's like, oh, that's good, because you're healthy. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're healthy if you're skinny. I have been very skinny and been the most unhealthy person in the room. Yeah. You know, but also I've been bigger, but lived a much healthier kind of lifestyle, but with the acceptance that I needed that weight at the time, if you know what I mean. So I guess, but yeah, it can be harmful both ways. You know, I know multiple people, especially guys, if they're called skinny, it's really harmful. And, you know, they'll, a bit like Bill Burr, you know, the comedian, where he's like, well, he goes and loses loads of weight. I say it's probably some sort of insecurity thing. The boys might be, that I know, who have been called skinny, might just, you know, make some jokes or be like, oh, blah, 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 you know, because it's their way of dealing with it as such. But people think that, you know, it's bad if you call someone fat, but it's not bad if you call someone skinny. And I don't agree with either. No. You know, someone's weight does not define them, and you don't actually know what else is going on in their life.
What about fat positivity or body positivity, that kind of thing? I know it's a very touchy subject.
That one, I think, to be honest, I think it's very much about how you feel within your own skin. You know, I've got clients, I've seen so many clients over the years, and for a lot of them it's very different. I've got ones who are really positive in being extremely small, you know. Hopefully, you know, I won't give any names away or anything like that, but I had a client and she liked being incredibly skinny, and she was incredibly positive. Whereas I had another girl who was incredibly skinny, who was desperate to gain weight. But it's the way you feel in that. Oh, this one over here felt incredibly confident. And was like, yeah, this is great. Like, look at me. Whereas this one over here was insecure and was like, I'm desperate to gain weight. And I think in that sense, it's how you feel within yourself, and you know, accepting certain things about yourself. I think we're always our own biggest critics. We're going to criticize ourselves and be like, oh, I hate this about me, I hate that about me. But actually, that's one thing I had to learn in terms of kind of building as a person, is accepting flaws but finding positives. And it's like, you know, for all of us, we can't spot reduce, we can't change, we can't, you know, we can't physically change our anatomy so that it looks the way we want. You know, people will come to me with a picture of a supermodel. I'm like, that's fantastic. Now what about you? Like, that's great. She looks fantastic. And it's like, don't bring me those pictures, because what I want is you to feel good and you to feel positive within yourself, rather than looking at something you're never going to achieve, basically. So it's 100%. I do think whatever your body is whatever is right for you. If you feel positive, you know, if you're leading a completely unhealthy lifestyle, I do think changes have to be made. But if you know, you're leading a healthy lifestyle and you're living your life for you and you feel good, 100%. Like,
what if someone's leading an unhealthy lifestyle but they're in denial?
Been there, done that.
Haven't we all?
Yeah, exactly. I think that will resonate with a lot of people. But I think until you come to a point where you kind of look inwards and address some of those habits,
or a situational thing happens in your life and you're like, gotta look at it.
But sometimes it's not until you come to that realization, and I guess, you know, you say you've had something, and likewise where I've gone, well, actually, on paper, if you write this, you know, you'd be like, oh, she looks really healthy, whatever else on the outside. But if you wrote it all down and you looked at it and you broke it down into different elements, you'd go, no. Like, you know, I looked healthy on the outside, but on the inside I was incredibly stressed. I wasn't sleeping. I was, you know, my eating would be affected by my stress, whether it be overeating, undereating, like all of this stuff, you know, whatever it was. On the outside I looked really healthy and I'm smiling, but on the inside I'm like, everything's falling apart. But it's okay. So I'm like,
I look good.
And everyone's like, you look really healthy and happy, and you're like, you know. And it's actually come to that realization of, okay, I am probably the unhealthiest person in the room right now, and going and addressing that and going, okay, what do I need to do? And, you know, breaking down each individual element. I think there are so many elements to fitness and well-being and everything like that. I don't think training itself is like just a sole thing. I think it's a part of a huge picture, like, you know, that I've had to kind of work on and learn. I've definitely learned on the job, and when I say learn on the job, not as in as a personal trainer, although you do, but in terms of, you know, my own journey to then help clients get to where they need to be.
I think age as well helps.
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
you know, like
you get to a certain,
100%. And you're like, when you're young, you're like, I know everything. 18, 20s, you're like, yeah, this is great. And, you know, sometimes I think I've got old before my time. Love an 8 p.m. bedtime. Highly recommend. So good. But yeah, no, you do. You become wiser because you have experiences. And I think we're all learning on the job. I don't think we really, when I say the job, I mean life. None of us have got a clue. Like,
no one has any idea. What level you go to.
I'm like that. Like, I wake up today and I hope for the best. Like, you know, it's like you have dreams, aspirations, whatever else, and it's like, you know, you just got to wing it and hope that it pays off. But.
Right. There's a certain amount of like winging it, but then there's also a certain amount of like putting in the work and
100%.
getting to it.
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of people will look at you and go like, she's successful, she's fit, she's doing whatever, she's healthy, she's what would you say to someone who like looks at you and thinks, how do I get like that?
How do I get like that?
Yeah.
Consistency.
Okay.
100%, and also dedication. I guess, you know, I've dedicated a lot of time to exercise as such, you know, and sometimes I think I do go, what's it all for? Because it's, you know, I'm like, what am I actually trying to achieve here? But I think if someone wants to get to a certain level, whatever that looks like with them, it has to be, you do have to be willing to make sacrifice, I think. And that's one thing that's really important that a lot of people aren't willing to do, is sacrifice. And, you know, if someone walks in and goes, I want results, and I'm like, but you tell me about your lifestyle, and I'm going, but something's got to give. And
what is it normally that's got to give?
That's got to give. It's got to be, well, a lot of the time it will be a lot of people like to socialize a lot.
Okay.
And it's like they'll go, I want fat loss.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, well, something here has got to give, because you're going out 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
And you're drinking excessive amounts. Now, if we total up, your calories for your alcohol, however much of a deficit I ask you to go in, we cannot battle this amount of calories going in with alcohol.
Even the lack of sleep and stuff with the lack of alcohol. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like I need you to sacrifice something, or it might be, time wise. I train a lot of people who are quite high up in businesses, and I'm like, if you want to live a slightly healthier lifestyle or get stronger or whatever else, you have to create some time. You can't just expect the time to happen, and whatever else, you have to make time. I think that's another thing, is making time. Is you can't just expect that you'll go to the gym 4 days a week. You have to like lock it in and go, that is my time.
No meetings, no whatever.
No, exactly.
Gym time.
And trying to get people to do that. But when they do, it's amazing, because they're like, oh, okay, like I feel stronger, I feel fitter, and I feel much better mentally. And it's like to aid them in that. So yes, I think it is a level of sacrifice, but also just like consistency, and just making sure like just keep turning up. And that's what I've always kind of kept with, is these are the days I train, and I always tell, and if I can't make it, that's fine, but I'm consistent in other things as well. But I think whether you're trying to do something in the gym, or you're trying to set up a business, or you're trying to progress at work, it is all consistency. But it is the amount of time that you're willing to put into it 100%. Because
so what if someone like starts a consistency thing, or starts something, and they're feeling consistent, but then they get to like that block where they're just like, they look in the mirror like, fucking, like, what is going wrong? Like, I've been training for however long, and I don't know. I think it's more psychological, but you just feel that kind of block, and you're like, you hit a wall, don't you?
Yeah, I think there are times where people do hit walls, but then it's going, okay, this is what I like to say to my clients, and it's like, what is the feeling behind that, rather than because a lot of the time they can't see their progress. I have clients who come in
yeah
they're like, oh, I'm just not getting stronger, or I'm just not getting fit, or whatever else. And I'm like, but if I look at this, at the beginning I measured X, Y, and Z, so let's just say in terms of strength or fitness or whatever it was, and now you're doing this. And I think a lot of the time, psychologically, like you say, we're like, oh, I'm not making any progress. And it's like, you are, because you've been consistent. That's progress in itself. And I think units of measure are a good thing to look back on and go. And often I think we forget the journey. We're so focused on what we're trying to achieve, and we're so focused on the end goal that we forget everything we did before. And it's
or what we look like, or
exactly. And that's why we say take photos, etc., etc. And if someone was going the wrong way as such, if they had come to me, they started training, or that someone's training outside of a gym and they're going backwards, essentially, that's when I go, okay, now we need to have an honest conversation, because something's not going right. And it's, if you're consistent in your approach, you will get results. If you're doing the right things, of course, if you're doing all the wrong things,
ultimately consistency anyway goes whichever way you want it to, doesn't it?
Exactly. But it depends. But sometimes it is a psychological thing, because like I mentioned earlier about when I went so polar opposite of like being down this end of being too slim, you can stand there and you can pick yourself apart and whatever else, and you become your own worst enemy. And this is actually something that I always say to people, like, you have to back yourself. And it's like, you've got to start supporting yourself in what you're doing, and going, you know what, I can do this, I am doing this, I have been consistent, instead of going, oh, nothing's happening, nothing's changing, but not forgetting what you've done to get there. So
how can someone do that?
How?
Like the good voice in their head instead of that.
You've got to fight.
Like
Genuinely, I have been that person, and this is the thing, Ed, and this is what I always say to people. I'm like, I try to teach people from my mistakes. I've spent so many years in dark holes, it being depressed, upset about the way I look, all of these things, focusing on where I need to be, but forgetting what I've done to get there, and you've got to start battling yourself. And I think this is one thing that people we're afraid to do work in, is what's going on up here. And it's like, this is the thing that's tough.
They want to deny it, don't they?
And it's like, I had a client before, and she'd say that these thoughts come in and it would be negative or whatever else, and I said, for every negative, find a positive. I said, however big or however small it is, I was like, I want you to find negative. You look in the mirror and you think, I feel really fat today. Go, but I look really nice, and I like this about me.
Or my hair looks nice.
Yeah, exactly. Or find something, but flip it around with a positive. And it's like that negative into positive. I was like, it doesn't matter, that the negative's in there, but you've got to fight it with something that is more positive, because, I think we all probably understand this, that the negative thoughts, they come in and they come in thick and fast sometimes.
And they're like brutal, aren't they?
Yeah. And it's like, you could be like that, like I'm having the time of my life, and it's like, yoo-hoo, negativity over here.
The thing is, you never ever talk to anyone else like it. Like, you never go to your friend, or I'd never go to you like, oh, you fat bitch. Like,
exactly. But in your head, it's acceptable.
Yeah.
Because you're like,
oh, it's me.
It's
me.
Exactly. And this is the problem. And, as I say, I think the way I can relate to clients is because I have had those fights. Literally.
Both ends of the spectrum, aren't you?
Exactly. Yeah. And, I say, I guess, I think one day I just like, you've just got to fight it with positivity. And I know that sounds really silly, but it was this battle, and I was like, negative thought, and I was like, no. It sounds really, really stupid.
Like the devil and angel, isn't
exactly.
it? Like,
But it kind of is. And you have to learn to fight as much as you would for anything else. You go to the gym and you work hard and you push yourself and whatever else, but that's physically.
Yeah.
But I think we forget about this up here as well. And, in all honesty, in the gym, people hear me shouting at myself or saying, come on, you little fucking bitch, whatever else, because I'm fighting the demons in my head. You can't do this, you need to stop, whatever else. And I'm like, no, because this is going to want to give up before your body will, 100%. So that's what we'll
it's like the stories of women and people who can like lift cars off of children because they get that sudden have you not ever seen it? Like the sudden strength that they get. Like our bodies are capable of doing things like that and lifting things. But your brain goes, no, you can't do it. Like,
exactly.
But as soon as you see a kid under a car, you're gonna like lift the car. Yeah.
Exactly. Actually, that's mad. But it is. It's so true. It's like if there's like a crisis.
Your brain just skips it and it's like, no.
It's like that. Hang on a minute, we'll give you that.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, here it is.
Let me give you a superpower.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. But I never heard of brain.
I'll link it below.
I'm gonna try to pick up a car.
Put a baby under it then first.
Oh my god. Jeez. Well, he's a dummy for clarity. For clarity.
I don't think you get the same effect.
No, that's true.
How important is mood on the internal voice?
Oh, well, mood is affected. I'd say mood is incredibly important, but it's affected by food, sleep, hormones for females, everything like that. And I think internal demons become harder when those three are kind of out of kilter, and that can be for anyone, because those internal voices, if you're tired, they're coming for you. Like they're like that, like we're tired, or whether it be your diet is like, go get some sugar because we need the energy, or you can't train today because you're so tired, or hormones for females, devil. Like I've had my fair share of issues where they're like, hello, and I'm like, oh jeez. But they are kind of the center to affecting everything that you do, whether it be in your performance, whether it be in your day-to-day. And I think you all know, if we've had a bad night's sleep, we're a little bit grouchy, to say the least. Hi. But so no, I think the mood is massive on the mental state, and as I say, all of those things kind of tie into it.
What can someone do to improve their mood?
What they can do to improve their mood. I like this one because I'm always looking to improve my mood.
There you go.
Especially the sun today. I was like, oh, I'm driving.
It's so good, isn't it? I was like, I'm not wearing any jumper because I'm gonna get that sun on my body.
My jumper's on the floor. I was like walking along, and I was like, I could go sunbathing. Exactly. Like, come at me.
Everyone's looking at me like, what the fuck? And I'm like, no.
But in terms of mood, I'd say, well, personally for me, I like to suggest the great outdoors because being outside is like, for me, I don't know. And I think until you kind of use it in such a way, it can just completely kind of calm and like relax you, especially if you've got a lot going on up here. And it might be that, you know, when you're out in the great outdoors, that, you know, you're still thinking about the things that are in your head, but actually if you're in a nice open space, you're like, okay, and I can breathe, you know, I can deal with it and I can breathe. 100% sleep. Oh my God, I've got friends, it drives me nuts because I get into bed at 8 o'clock. By 7:30 I'm there with my book falling asleep, and by 9 it's lights out, and I'm like, I'm a little
What time do you wake up?
Anywhere between 5 and 6. But I love being in bed and I love my sleep. Now my friends are up till like 1-2 o'clock on a school night. It's like, it's not a school night. we're not at school.
A weeknight, that
like
sort of thing.
1-2 o'clock, and then they're getting up at 6 o'clock, and they're like, I'm tired. I'm like, you're tired. What did you expect? And you know, then I'm like, oh, I'm moody, or I want sugary foods, or whatever else. And it's like prioritizing sleep completely changed my life. Like completely changed my life. So I'd say that is a massive one in terms of me.
Your friends go to bed at 2-1.
Yeah.
What can they do to go to sleep earlier?
I think the worst thing we have, well, it is devices, because we get locked in holes. Like, I don't know if anyone else downloaded TikTok in lockdown, but I lost days to that thing.
It's cancer, isn't it? It's
oh my gosh.
Cancer, man.
Yeah, terrible. But in general, I think we spend so much time. I think people who work busy jobs, whatever else, they get home late and then they're like, we want something. We want to feel like we're having time. Like
the stimulus, like, yeah.
And it's like, we want to feel good. So it's like, okay,
and easy,
scrolling, or they're looking for something because they're like, well, I've only just got home. So now I want to spend time awake, but not at work. And it's like, well, actually, are you making it worse for yourself by staying awake that long? And, you know, everyone's different. You have night owls and you have like early birds, you know, 100% early bird.
Larks, isn't it?
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Owls and larks. Sorry.
Owls and larks, you do. But I think, you know, a lot of people, I wonder if they're staying up late because they watch series or whatever else. And as I say, I think we're constantly looking for some sort of fulfillment as such. And, you know, people are like, well, I can't go to bed at 9 o'clock. And I'm like, but why? They're like, it's because it's too early.
Yeah.
I'm like, but why is it too early? You know, if it meant that you, or even 10, 11, if it meant that you got a good sleep, why would you not do it? Why would you not want to wake up feeling refreshed?
Yeah.
And as I say, sleep affects everything.
I think it's from a childhood thing, because like children don't want to go to sleep.
No, they don't. 100%. I train a lot of parents, and they're like, my child was up till 5 o'clock this morning, and it's like, and then they went to bed. And like, why are you going to bed at 5? You know, again, why are they doing that? I think at that age it's kind of a little bit of rebellion.
They're
but
missing
also,
out and stuff.
I think you go through that funny phase as a teenager, but as adults, I think a lot of the time, as I say, like there's a lot of stresses that go on in life, and it's like, okay, that is my time to kind of sit back and relax. But actually, you know, I'm tired from the day and everything like that. But I think sleep will affect everything you do, from what you say to yourself to the way, you know, your day goes, whatever else. And I think it is such an important part. And I have been a massive insomniac. It was stress.
Yeah.
And it was because I was so stressed. I could fall asleep, boom, out. And within 2 hours, I was awake all night. And it's so annoying. But, you know, in my head, I was like, I've got insomnia. Yeah. And I'm walking around, I've got insomnia.
Yeah, and then it's like self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm like that. Well, I've got insomnia, so I can't sleep. It's like, no, what you're doing is not addressing some of the stuff in your life.
Yeah. And
when I created a sleep routine, and I tried to get my clients to do this. I'm like, create a sleep routine. You come off your phone an hour before you go to bed.
Yeah.
You do reading, or you watch something, you know, watch something on an iPad or whatnot, but something that doesn't have anything that's pinging through to you. Because if we see a message, we're like, oh, I'll respond. You know, and my friends are always like, you know, you can't get a response out of me after 8 o'clock because, and if I'm there gone 8:30, 9 o'clock, they're like, what are you still doing up? You know, it's like,
what the fuck? Yeah. You've ingrained it into them, yeah.
But I think for a lot of people, I don't know. I don't know really. It's just coming off electronic devices, finding a way to unwind, because we do live in a very stressful world, and I think, you know, we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders a lot of the time, and I think, you know, some people can fall asleep like that, but for others it takes time. And, you know, I think creating that sleep routine, having a calm environment, making sure the room's not too hot, 100%. And I actually read something really interesting the other day from a guy called Huberman. I can't
Andrew
say
Huberman.
Is that who it is?
Love it, yeah.
It's like, if you have a lull around 2:33
Yeah.
or whatever it is, whatever time you have your lull in the afternoon where suddenly your energy is like that, it's like you should go to bed like 6 to 7 hours after that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so true. But for a lot of people, they have the lull and then they force their way through by going and just keep going and pushing until 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. It's like, or people are drinking a coffee before bed. My clients come in, they're like, yes, and I have a coffee at 11 with a biscuit. So I'm like, so you're having caffeine and you're having sugar, and then now you're
mixed
telling
together,
me you can't sleep. Like, what did you expect? I'm like, please help me.
I really hate people like that. And they're like, I drink a coffee, and then they're like, but it doesn't affect my sleep, and I'm like, I bet it does.
but
Have you tracked it? Like, I bet it does. Like, yeah.
But they're like, I don't sleep very well.
I'm really tired. Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. So 100% sleep, creating a routine, creating a calm environment.
What if someone hypothetically struggles to switch off?
Struggles to switch off.
It's me, definitely me.
You. Okay. Okay. Right. Let's get more specific.
Counselling, yeah.
Okay. So you struggle to switch off. Do you let's do this for the people who may listen.
Yeah.
to this, but you personally.
Yeah.
Are you carrying stresses from the day? Is it just in general your brain's just busy? Like,
I've got a busy brain.
You've got a busy brain.
And I think that's why I'm entrepreneurial.
Okay.
And then it's like ideas, and I'm I want to do it, and I'm like, fuck, no,
but
don't do it now.
It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. You're like, I want to do it, and I want to do it right now.
Yeah, like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, don't switch your laptop on.
Don't do it. But I think it's staying away from those distractions, but also, you know what? They say have a piece of paper by your bed, and actually, I have tried it myself.
Yeah,
and it kind of worked, it kind of didn't, because I'd write it down, but then it would still be there going, boo, like, let's talk about this now. And I'm like, why are you talking about this now? But I think turning to things like more kind of like box breathing, so kind of using breathing techniques. This is something that I'm really interested in kind of looking more into, and it kind of falls into the anxiety sort of thing as well, and actually tapping into your parasympathetic nervous system. I can't even say it, sympathetic nervous system, but using different techniques, and then kind of as well, what we said about you have to give yourself positive thoughts. It's kind of, people think I'm mad because I talk to myself in my head. It's like,
I do it all the time.
Yeah, but you kind of got to go, right, thanks for bringing this up, but can we not talk about it now? We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, it's in the journal.
It's here. It's ready to pick up when it's actually time. And kind of separating. I think it's a lot of the time is separating yourself. Like, this is the time for sleep, and going, like, I can't deal with you right now. Like, please just wait until tomorrow, and having that journal so you don't forget your idea. And going, right, quickly scribble it down. It's annoying if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and your brain's decided that, and you've got to turn the light on.
Once I'm asleep, I'm asleep.
Okay, but it's switching off.
It's more like, like that evening of like after dinner to about 10 o'clock. I tend not to watch Netflix and stuff like that. But it's like I'm just kind of like trying to wind down and not do anything, but then I'll be like, oh yeah, why don't I just do this fucking new business idea?
But that is kind of good in a way.
Yeah, it's good. It's a blessing and a curse, because it fucking I want to do it right away. But
exactly,
I probably do better work if it's weighted as well.
Yeah, exactly. But also, this is another thing as well, is going like, there's nothing I can do right now to sort this. Like, I need to step away from it, because if you can set up a business at that time of night, then fair play.
There's the financials, there's the business plan.
Exactly, it's there right in my business plan. Do you ever read? You do read
all the time, yeah.
Are you reading education, or are you reading like fiction?
More non-fiction.
Okay.
Educational.
So going educational.
Yeah.
So this is one thing I found, that I had a problem with what I was reading before bed. Because I was reading educational material. Yeah. And my brain was like, okay, like, now we need to do this, and we can make a post that's going to do this, and then we could make something here. And I was like, and I ended up having to go, right, no, and completely switching what I read, because as I say, it was triggering these other thoughts and feelings and whatever else that were coming through. So maybe changing what you're reading before bed, although it's one of those times where you're like, will I have time to read this now? Yeah. But switching that up a little bit, and trying that.
It's not the books, I don't think.
It's not.
No, because I can read a book and then like fall asleep really, and I tend to read. So I'll try and read in the morning. Yeah. At about 11, and that's like my coffee and breakfast time.
11, like it.
Why?
What time do you get up?
Huh?
What time do you get? Hang on, are you a lark or are you an owl? You're an owl.
No, I lark.
You're a lark.
No, I get up in the morning. I get up, go for a walk.
Like this.
Yeah, I'll go for a walk. What do I do? Journal, coffee. Don't have the coffee before I go for a walk, otherwise I'm like buzzing. And then work.
Yeah.
Try and do focus work, so like no email and all that.
Yeah.
And then after the work is like reading, and then it's email and WhatsApp and all that shit.
Question. When you're doing things like emails and setting your time aside for those things, can you concentrate?
Can I concentrate?
Like, can you hone in on it? Or are you distracted?
No, I tend to just be like, email time now.
Okay, so you're
it's
quite
like,
good at that.
Email, done. God, I fucking hate email. It's like, and WhatsApp. And then I'm like, right, email, done. WhatsApp. So I don't have it on my phone.
Yeah.
Don't have any email app. Don't have any app. Nothing.
That's good.
No notifications.
That's good. I like
Stresses
it.
me out.
Yeah. Honestly, if I could go live in the bush with no technology, I'm there. Like 100%. So you can separate your time. So you can go, this is my reading time, this is my email time. So now it's going, this is my sleep time. Like, that's
the bit I struggle with.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's just evening.
Yeah.
Like, I can journal in the morning. I can have all these big ideas, and it's like, yeah, right. Here's a plan for the day. Da, da, da.
Yeah.
And I get to the evening, and I'm like, all gone.
Okay, talk me through your sleep routine.
My sleep routine.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't think I do. So I make sure I go for the walk in the morning to get the morning sunlight. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Huberman.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Get out in the sun.
Morning walk. And then I try, like, no lights before bed.
Yeah.
I do a little bit of screen time because I do like some Dutch and stuff.
Like it.
So I don't know if that's affecting, but it's on a black and white screen. So
okay.
After 9 o'clock.
After 9 o'clock.
After 9 o'clock, yeah. It's a bit late, isn't it? But I'm working up till I'm quite late because I tend to go to the gym a little bit later.
Okay.
And then I get back, have dinner, do a little bit of work, and then
Interesting. What time do you go to a gym?
Try and go for free, but sometimes it's like 4 or 5.
Okay, that's
and then
okay.
Pushing it,
okay.
yeah.
Right, I was interested because sometimes we have like evening gym goers, and it's too much because
and you wake up, yeah. I went to gym before this actually, and I might start going like that time. One, because it's quieter.
Yeah, exactly.
You just get no one there. You just like headphones on, like
yeah, pump it out.
Done. Yeah. Don't know.
Okay, so back to sleep. So you go, you do your Dutch, but that'll be like 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
What are you having to do when you're like? Are you just reading, or are you having to verbally say stuff? Like, obviously you're learning.
Bit of mixture of both. Yeah, okay. Reading, typing.
Again, are you stimulating your brain before you go to bed?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so my thing would be probably to try and find somewhere else to put that.
Yeah.
To try and put that elsewhere, because in my head, if I'm learning something and I try and go straight to sleep, then my brain's like, yo, we've got like 26 things we need to discuss now. Because you've been busy learning one thing, we're going to have to chat about all of this.
Okay.
And it's like, so I'd maybe look, just moving that maybe like an hour or two earlier, because then you've not got any device before you go to bed. But also, I think as well, for a lot of people, we wait before we get into bed to start brushing our teeth and washing our face and having a pee, whatever it is you want to do before bed. It's like, do that in the time in which you take yourself off your phone or off electronic devices or whatever it is, so that hour leading up is to do all of that then. Because often, people start to fall asleep on the sofa, but then they have to wake up because they've got to go brush their teeth, wash their face, get in their pajamas, do whatever they want to do, start stroking the cat, I don't know, like what do people do before bed? But it's going, right, I am prepared and I'm ready to go. And then now I'm working on relaxation only. I'm not doing anything educational. I'm not doing anything that's going to stimulate me. I'm doing reading or watching something really like mundane that doesn't take much kind of brain power or whatever else, and being like, this is my time. And I think that's one thing that switched it for me as well, as I say, is creating that calm environment. And it was practice, and I know it sounds silly, but I had to practice it consistently, I add, to the point that my consistency paid off. I have a circadian rhythm. Like, my rhythm is bang on every time. Boom, 9 o'clock, bang, gone.
Okay.
5
All right.
o'clock.
Yeah. So you trained the rhythm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. I woke up 1 minute before my alarm today.
Yeah.
Every time.
It's such a nice feeling. I did it like a week ago, and I kind of got into a weird rhythm where it was like 6:45 up, and then I was like, fuck, like my alarm didn't go off, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm panicking, going shit, I missed it.
But you've not. But I think it's 100% breaking it down and making sure that it's a really calm really relaxing sort of environment where you're not stimulating yourself at all, but also that you're ready to fall asleep. So if you do happen to get tired a bit earlier, you don't have to then get up to go do something, or, you know, go put a device down or whatever it is. You are ready to fall asleep. And it takes months and months and months of training, but then your body goes and does it for you.
So you doing this like in bed, and essentially like when you're reading or whatever, or
what do you mean?
Like, so when you go to sleep, or your sleep routine, is it you get ready, do your teeth, pajamas on, go into bed,
so
and then read? Or
for me personally, I get into bed to read because I love being in bed. If I've got any opportunity to be in bed, I'm in it. Like, if it was acceptable in my mind to go to bed at 5 o'clock, I would, because I love just being in bed. However, actually, this is a really good point, that sometimes getting into bed too early, then your body's a bit confused, and and I'm, you know, testament to this as such, because I'll get into bed, like say I got in at 7, then I try to go to sleep at my normal time, and my body's like, well, hang on a minute, we've been here 2 hours. Like, are we awake? Are we sleeping? What are we doing? So I think normally I time it pretty much the same every single night. Between 8 and 8:30 is when I'm getting ready to get into bed.
Okay.
And then by 9, my body's like
in bed. Yeah.
Bang, we're tired now. We're between 9:30 latest. We'll fall asleep.
Okay.
But I think if you're ready hours and hours before, you're like that, right, gotta get back from the gym, 4 p.m. Need to start my new sleep routine.
What do you do in the summer?
People ask me this.
Yeah.
Because they're like, but you go to bed so early. So in the summer, I push back slightly.
Okay.
So I have different hours. However, I wake with the sun. So when the sun rises, I'm rising. But there's a difference in the daylight.
Yeah.
100%, because I can function on a lot less sleep in the summer. I say I hibernate in the winter. Like, I will literally, I go to bed 8:30, fall asleep, and people are like, well, are you coming out? I'm like, am I coming out? Not a chance. Like, I'm going to a party on Saturday and it starts at 8 o'clock and it's making me really anxious. It's ridiculous. But in the summer, it might be go to bed a bit later, but I also wear an eye mask.
Okay.
So I've got my little silk eye mask, you know, super sexy. Definitely. I also wear earplugs, even sexier. Little orange
links below if you want to find.
Little orange things poking out my ears. Like, you know, I look like, oh, crikey, Shrek.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shrek. But yeah, so those sorts of things, it is slightly harder. So I'll go to bed a little bit later because it's so light, and it's like, well, you know, we should still be out or up doing stuff. Yeah. But I think that's the hard part is, but then sometimes my rhythm will just push back slightly. But like I say, we'll wake with the sun anyway. But I think it's then utilising those sunlight hours and going, okay, well, I'll use that as my charge and not so much sleep. You know, I think in the winter, I think we've got to use the time to kind of hibernate and nest, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, even when our skins isn't getting as much sunlight on it and stuff like that, because we're like covered up in coats and things like that. So.
Exactly, and you know, like we were just saying, like when I came out of the car, I'm like that.
Literally, I was after the gym.
This is amazing. You know, you're saying like you need to get out there.
Yeah.
But I think
people look at you weirdly though, like when you do that.
Sunlight is very, very important. I think especially in the winter when we don't have natural sunlight, this light is great, by the way. You need to get under this every morning. Like, you know, when it's really dark and gloomy outside, is, you know, again, putting on loads of lights, like brightening things up to try and get yourself going. But yeah, summer it is a slightly later bedtime of around 9:30.
Okay.
Sometimes 10 if I'm feeling fruity.
Pushing about out. Okay, so we talked about sleep routine. We talked about thingy. Let's talk about food. Yeah, let's talk about food.
Food. Yum.
So what did your relationship look like with food? Because obviously you've like had different ends of the spectrum, as you said.
Yes.
Talk me through that.
Well, I talked to you from the first day I was born because this is very interesting, because I blame my brother for this. But came back from the hospital, and the first day from the hospital, he ran his finger around the meat paste and shoved it in my mouth, not realising that was a tiny baby. I did not want to have anything other than milk. Since then, bloody love meat, love food. Literally spent my whole life going like, more, you know. And, you know, have always had, I guess, a very loving relationship with food in the sense of I absolutely love food and love eating every food group. But I guess in terms of relationship with it, I guess or when I was on a larger scale, it came from lack of education. I didn't understand. I didn't know. And then being on the smaller scale, it came through extreme control and extreme kind of measures and being fearful of food. So I've had two very big extremes.
Carbs.
It's not even carbs. I ate carbs, but they would have to be so measured out.
Yeah.
That it was like the fear of having 1 gram over. Like, you know, I'd
Set you
rather go 5 under than miscalculate. So
okay, yeah.
I think it's so hard because I think in society, and especially kids and whatnot in schools, it really bugs the shit out of me because they're not getting educated. They're not being educated, and we're entirely influenced by our parents.
Kids are getting so fat now.
Like, but the influence we've got is from those above us, which is our parents or our siblings or whatever else. And, you know, you see what they eat or you're given X, Y, and Z.
The choice at the supermarket is just shit.
Yeah.
Like,
but
it's
also,
horrible.
The thing that scares me the most is the fact that you can get a massive multi-pack of biscuits for about 90p. But in order to buy apples, you need anywhere now between £2 to £4.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what are you going to go for?
Yeah.
You know, if you're on a lower income or whatever it is, it's going to be easier to buy something in a bigger quantity than it is to buy something healthy. And that's actually is quite worrying. But, you know, in terms of relationships with food with everyone, I think we need to, you know, they always say, like, don't demonize foods and whatever else, but I don't think we can. It's about moderation, but also understanding the education behind that of you can eat absolutely anything. I've got some clients who have managed to lose weight eating McDonald's 2-3 times a week because that's what they like. And I've said to them, I don't, at this point, want you to focus on having to completely change your diet into something that you don't like. I want you to focus on the amount you're eating, you know, on the calories, blah, blah, blah. But, and whilst I want you to try and get fruit and veg in there, actually, you can eat whatever you want because I need you to get enjoyment from it. And this is the thing. When we enjoy the kind of the foods that we're eating, we're more likely to remain consistent. If I'm going to punish you and go, well, you can't eat your favourite thing, you can't drink any alcohol, you can't have any milk in your coffee, you can't do this, you can't do that. Your body, when, you know, basically eat some lettuce leaves, you're going to be like that. Well, fuck off, cat, to be honest. Like, like, you know, it's just the way it is. It's going to be really miserable and it's going to get miserable fast. And this is another thing with food is food affects your mood. And now, you know, people with extreme excessive like kind of sugar in their diets, they live their life like this. And I see it all the time. And I've had so many clients who, you know, they wake up, they have a coffee and maybe like a muffin for breakfast, and then they pootle along and then they don't eat, and it gets to 3 p.m. they realize they've not eaten, they're starving, but they've had a complete crash, and they're like, oh, I'll have a piece of cake, and then they crash, and then they're about to, you know, come home and they're like, oh, I'm really tired again, so they get home and then they opt for something sugary to get them through to dinner, and it's like this constant peaks and troughs, and that really affects mood, which then affects the head, which affects performance, which affects sleep, and it's like this thing, and I'm this dominoes effect, and I'm like, you know, I've gone off a bit of a tangent here, and I've forgotten what my actual point was. Any idea?
Talking about food, we said about kids.
Oh yeah, and then it's very much education and being able to create a relationship with food where you can eat everything. You know? And as I say, like, I've done it on both ends of the spectrum, and this end of the spectrum, you know, being incredibly skinny and you know, basically starving myself on purpose and over exercising, you know, doing 11 or 12 training sessions a week. Like, what was I doing? You know, but then going, okay, and it comes back to looking kind of inwards. You know, we're often chasing a feeling, we're often chasing something that we want to look like, but it's often we want to feel a certain way, and it's like, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be healthy along the way, but it's going, okay, let me turn that inwards and go, actually, what do I need to
long-term feeling as well, instead of short-term feeling, because I could eat that muffin and it would be like, fucking sugar,
exactly,
but longer term I'm gonna be like,
and this is the thing, like, we eat something that we deem as bad and we feel guilty for it, and it's like, when people then go and they turn to exercise because they're like, I need to burn it off, but actually the reality is it's going to take you so much work to burn that off. It's actually using the gym as a tool to all of those other things, you know, with food, with sleep, with exercise, and like using it as one big sort of
like a holistic approach sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. And this is what I try to say to people. It's not just about the work you're doing in here. In fact, what you're doing in here with me is not actually
It's
it's tiny.
yeah.
It's all of this that is around it. And, you know, as I say, the education on food is incredibly important, but how to eat right, but also to be able to eat for what's right for you. You spoke earlier about fasting. You know, for some people, fasting is amazing. If I fast, my body's like, oh my God, we're going to die. Like, genuinely.
Really?
Yeah. I start shaking. If it's been like more than 12 hours, my body's like, what's going on? You know, but I eat
I love the feeling
kind of
of being
fuel
fasted.
like my performance or whatever else, because it's what works for me. Now, I would love to be able to fast. I remember I basically was going through this kind of private doctor lady, and she was like, I need you to fast for 14 hours a day. And I'm like, that. You can ask me anything, but that's not an option.
No.
And she's like, no, give it a go. I think I tried it 2 days in a row. And I was like, I'm stood there and I'm like, I'm going to faint. Like, you know, like, because my body, but I think if fasting works for you, you don't have to eat breakfast.
No.
You don't have to eat lunch. You don't have to eat dinner.
No.
You know, for someone, it might look like brunch.
Yeah.
And then, like, I don't know, a big dinner in the evening or whatever else. And, you know, there's a lot of kind of information out there that says, you know, you should eat a big breakfast, kind of medium lunch and a small dinner. But, you know, for certain people, it comes down to psychological as well. Because if you give me a little dinner, I get into bed and my brain's like, no, we've not eaten enough.
No.
And it's
you need
like,
them carbs at night any evening, don't you?
And I used to have this thing, especially when I was slightly bigger, that I had this thing in my head that if I didn't eat a bowl of cereal before bed, that I wouldn't sleep. And it became this psychological
self-fulfilling prophecy.
And I would lay in bed and I'd be like, you've not had your cereal. You can't sleep. And so I'd go downstairs at 11 o'clock and get the bowl of cereal.
Sugary cereal.
Yeah. And then it's like, but then I've got insomnia.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, no, I've eaten something sugary. But, you know, it's 100% you've got to eat right for your life. And
what about processed food?
Processed food.
Yeah. It bugs
me.
It fucking bugs me.
So it is one of those, like, you know, it's like I say, I can have people who come in and they want to eat those kind of processed foods. They want fast food. They want all of this kind of stuff.
Not necessarily fast food. I mean, just walking around the supermarket, like 90% of it is processed.
Yeah.
And
But I'm like, if it works for your lifestyle, then do it. However, I'd always say to people, I'd rather you ate fruit, veg, you know, fresh, you know. Not everyone can afford organic. I get that. Like, you know, it's, you know, sometimes I buy some organic stuff or, you know, I'll go to the farm shop or whatever else, but I can't afford to do it all the time.
No,
so I'm
it's
like,
fucking
right, I'm
expensive,
just going to
isn't it?
have to go to, you know, your bog standard stuff.
Chickens can be in a barn.
No, that's a free range only, to confirm, free range only. That is one thing I stand by. The rest I don't mind, but it's like, you know, especially in the way that life is now, everything's so expensive, everything like that, you have to do what works for you. And, you know, as I say, if you can get, you know, beans, pulses, fruit, veg, blah, 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 whatever it is that you like in that, on kind of just to create those kind of healthier sort of meals, but also to get the vitamins and the nutrients and everything like that, I think 100% like that would be the better option. However, like I say to people, if that is what works for you, do it. And I think actually this is another thing, is using some shortcuts. I think especially in like fat loss and whatever, if you know you're going to be home late from work, you're not going to have time to cook, blah, 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 you're likely to try and pick up some fast food, you can get the meals, like the lower calorie meals, like that kind of stuff. I say to clients, they're like, yeah, but it's a frozen meal. I'm like, but it's one night. It doesn't matter, but
probably cheaper than buying out as well.
But that's a calorie controlled meal. That you can make in 15-20 minutes when you get home. And you know what, it's saving you time and effort, and it means that you won't go and buy a takeaway of fish and chips, which is going to like be like 1,800 calories. It's like, it just, honestly, I don't like to penalise, because I know everyone's situation's different. So I think it is just genuinely finding what works for you and what you can afford and what you enjoy as well. So again, it comes back to enjoyment. But obviously, I do personally myself love fruit, veg, all that kind of stuff.
What does your diet look like?
What does my diet look? My diet is as consistent as my sleep routine. I could literally, we'd look at my diet and it's literally the same.
It just makes life easier, doesn't it? You're just like, I'm eating that, done. Shopping when I'm buying this, I know where it is.
Exactly. And I'm like, oh, I like that. But in general, throughout the week, Monday to Friday, you can pretty much kind of look at my diet and you'll be like, oh, you ate that the same day last week, and it
Mm.
will be 3 eggs, 2 toast, and an apple and a pear for breakfast, like every single day.
Yeah.
Without fail. That sets me up. I feel good. Then it will be
Like time.
You what? Sorry.
Time.
Oh, I mean that could be either
6,
5,
7.
6, 7.
Wow, okay.
Dependent on what time I've got clients.
Okay.
So quite.
Yeah.
So by like 9 o'clock, my body's like, "Hey, is it lunchtime?"
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm sorry. And then lunch, it will be. Let's just say it will be like marinated chicken. Sometimes it will be pasta, rice, couscous. Depends. Like it'll change. It does. I mix it up. Every now and then. But then
Red peppers instead of green peppers.
Careful. No, I don't like a green pepper. Red and yellow only.
Red are actually healthier for you.
Are they?
Yeah, they've got
I
more
never
sunlight
knew.
into them.
Ah.
Go for the darker ones as
Well,
well.
that's good because I eat the red ones all the
Yeah.
time. So yeah, and then it will have like kind of some sort of vegetables in there. Then it might be either another piece of fruit, or sometimes I'll opt for a protein bar, or love a bag of Wotsits. Always a bag of Wotsits every day, like Monday to Friday. Only. And then it gets to and then evening meals, it would be varied: stir fries, chilies, steak. Love a steak. Yeah, and
Good
do
thing.
say you're not going to eat.
How
too
do you have
much
it
red
cooked?
meat. Medium rare.
Nice.
Only way.
Good.
It's like leaving to go to room temperature before. Hot pan.
Cooking
oil.
with cat.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that kind of stuff. And then the weekend, it could be anything. It could be a takeaway. It could be going out for lunch or breakfast. Like I'm really flexible, but I know how to eat for my performance and also what I'm trying to achieve. So
Do you track your macros? I'm assuming you do it during the week.
No. So I
Okay.
have done enough tracking in my time
that you
to know what I can
instinctively.
eat.
Yeah.
Now, if I feel like my weight's perhaps going up or down too much, or I'm trying to reach a performance goal, I will start tracking again. And I actually enjoy tracking because I'm okay, I can see where it's going wrong, or I can see where I might need some more. And, it's actually, I think it's a really good tool. And for some people, it's to the detriment. I used to track for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I tracked to make sure that I was not overeating, whereas now it's like, actually, am I eating enough for my performance? And, it's a nice place to be. And it's actually,
I think, if you're trying to hit a certain number, like especially with like the protein and stuff, you like want to hit that number, and then you're
exactly.
like, I'm hitting that number.
And like, I've had clients who have come to me who have had bad kind of experiences previously with tracking and with weight loss and everything like that because it's become an obsession. But then it's going, okay, well, whether we go down that tracking route or not, whether we use paper, so you don't actually, but I can see roughly, I can look at a piece of paper and go, okay, I can see roughly if something, if it's going to be too much, whatever. But also, again, it comes back to education. I say, this was a totally uneducated thing. Over here is what you did because you thought you needed to look a certain way and you thought that was going to get you
That's
results.
how you do it, yeah.
Now we're going with education. This is what I want you to focus on. And it's, for every time I've kind of said to someone, I was like, I want you to give it a go. And then if it doesn't work, then we get rid of it. And every time it's worked because we've gone down an education route. Yeah. Which, education is key. But personally, I'll only track if and when I need to. Okay.
So say you want to track. There's a question in it for me. Let's say you want to track. Yeah. And right, so I want to gain muscle. I'm trying to eat a pound of protein or a gram of protein per pound of body weight. Okay. So it's about 180 grams of protein. Yeah. Which I'm able to do, but I'm not tracking on the weekend. Okay. Does that should I be, or?
I guess it comes down to, is your diet varying massively at the weekend?
I'm probably eating a lot less on the weekend.
You're eating a lot less. Yeah. Okay. This is one of those. It's like, if you need for your goals to still be consuming enough, for you, I would say track at the weekend. Yeah. In order to kind of look and go, am I massively under eating? Because if you're trying to gain muscle, you need to be in a slight surplus. And if
fucking harder you're fasting.
If you're massively under eating at the weekend, depends how much you're under eating by.
Quite a lot.
Okay. Yeah. If you've got a massive gap, you need to then look across the week. So I go, this is just a ballpark figure because I'm really shit at maths, by the way. So let's say 1,000 calories a day. You have 7,000 calories over a week. Now, if you're consuming, say you're hitting your 1,000 every day till then.
Friday,
And
yeah,
then,
Monday, Friday, yeah.
Monday to Friday, and then you get to Saturday, Sunday, and you're only consuming 400 or 1,200 calories is missing, and it's like, is that a good thing for what you're trying to achieve? Because over the course of that time period, you're 1,200 under, and then you've got to start looking at, is that creating a deficit? So you're actually getting enough food, are you actually getting that? But also looking at your training stimulus. Are you following a periodized program? Are you training correctly? Are you training to the correct kind of intensity? Like all of those sorts of things to initiate that growth and that kind of stuff. So you're not just looking at the food aspect, it's, looking at the gym aspect as well. But 100%, if you feel like you're not eating enough at the weekends, I'd be looking to track and go, okay, what am I actually hitting?
Stick a few smoothies in there.
Just so that you can go, okay, even if I can just up it a bit.
Yeah,
and I think this is the same thing. And actually, I was interested when you said you can hit 180 grams of protein. Like, for a lot of people, they don't even hit 100, and it's quite daunting when you turn around and you're like, I need you to hit 120 to 150, whatever it is, whoever it is, and they're like, wow. But it's then taking baby steps. It's going, right, well, you're only consuming 60 at the moment, so your goal for this week is to hit 80 grams, and then it's like, because that's an increase, right? So it's good. And then going, okay, you're hitting 80 consistently now, so now I want you to hit 100, and once you get used to hitting it, it's the easiest thing.
Yeah. Because you just have food, so you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna eat some peanut butter. Done. I'm gonna have some almonds.
Like miles away, you're like, I can't eat that.
No,
and it's like, but it's those gentle increases. So I would say to you to look at those 2 days.
Keep some consistency on the weekend.
Yeah, but
consistency in that. Yeah.
Exactly. But just with the goal in mind. 100%.
Because I don't train on the weekend because I've got my daughter.
You don't.
No.
But that's fine, because it's still, those calories are factored for the goal in general. So you still need, those calories as such. So, yeah.
Are there any food that someone can eat to increase their calories? Because my baseline calorie is about 3,400. Is
that what you've got to hit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Roughly.
So obviously, protein wise, so you've got carbs, fats, proteins. Protein, carbs, 4 calories per 1 gram.
Okay.
Fats, 9 calories per 1 gram. So that's why when you see things like avocados, everything like that, and you look at it, my fitness part is like half an avocado is 500 calories. You're like, what? Sorry, what? It's not that much.
Nuts and stuff like that. Like 30 grams of nuts is like 300 calories.
Exactly.
You're
so eating more fats will get your calories up quite easily. Or it's then increasing portion sizes on other things that you enjoy. Do you eat meat?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you do. You said you eat chicken.
Yeah.
That's meat. Well done. Yeah.
And we talked about how we cook steaks. So. Twice in the conversation.
I am more clever than I seem on this camera. But yeah, so I've completely lost where we were going with that.
About eating
enough. What were we saying?
You fucking went on to chicken. Do you eat meat?
About eating a steak.
Yeah.
I've got a steak in my head. That's all I want now. No. All I can think about is steak.
What are we saying? So eating enough macros. You said about the protein, the fat, and then
that's
where
what
there's
you
more
said.
calories.
Sorry, you were saying, is there anything that you can eat?
Yes.
We should count. So it would be, I'd be looking at, can you get more fats in there, or more protein, whatever it is. But the fats is the highest calorie per gram. So, but then again, you don't want to be chowing down on a massive bag of nuts for days, that's the thing. But I'd go, do you know what I'd say? Is go from an enjoyment perspective. And actually, if there's foods that you like, maybe just increasing the portion size slightly, so you're getting those. Are you
trying to eat unprocessed as well? That's the only thing.
Oh my God. Oh, geez. Like, it's so hard.
It's hard. Yeah, to eat an unprocessed diet and hit the calories, you're just like, I've got to eat 60 grams of nuts. Honestly, I do. I swear on my life, I'm like, measures it out, done.
Tell you what, you are like, you're funding the nuts industry.
Yeah. The almond industry has gone up because I've discovered that there's a lot of protein in them. So I was like, I may as well just eat them instead of...
Yeah.
I used to eat hazelnuts.
Oh, hazelnut.
Hazelnuts are better than almonds.
Okay, talk me through like top 3 nuts.
Top 3 nuts. These nuts. Okay, right. These nuts.
Top 3 nuts.
Top 3 nuts. I have to start with hazelnut.
Wow. That's like Owen Wilson's. Wow.
Yeah, wow. Hazelnut. Brazil, almond.
Controversial.
Why is that? Why is that?
Because I never. Do you know what? I've been like, everyone goes for the peanut.
Do you reckon?
Like, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but that's because they're just like covered in salt and.
This is what I was about to bring you to, because I'm saying like the chili coated peanuts from
No,
Tesco.
like plain.
Oh
No.
my god, no! But the chili coated crunch.
Have you ever tried the really posh one, like Campbell's, or is it Campbell's? I did it once. I did like a video shoot on it.
I don't
just
know.
ended up eating them. They were really nice.
Oh my god, they do sound good. So
lime and something else as well, like lime and chili.
Stop. Like but the pistachio underrated, annoying.
Okay. Yeah.
But very underrated. But they're very salty. And no, not an almond. No. Oh,
what about you? What were top 3?
Chili coated peanut.
Okay.
Pistachio.
Not unflavored. Right, unflavored.
Oh, damn it.
You-
Okay, just your everyday salted peanuts, fine.
Yeah.
I do like an almond,
Mm-hmm.
although that's coming at 3. Sorry, I skipped the pistachio. But the pistachios, as they say, were very, very annoying because
Yeah.
But I mean, I used to when I was healthy, sit there eating the whole bag of pistachios.
Yeah.
Not realizing, because I was like, they're healthy, they're nuts.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's about 800 calories that you've
And
just consumed.
loads of fat. Nuts.
Nuts, hazelnuts.
Favorite green vegetable.
Brussels sprout.
Okay.
Straight away.
Yeah.
Like that. I was gonna say that was gonna be a hard one. Oh, but I do like to understand broccoli. I like a green bean,
spinach,
a cucumber, kale, courgettes.
Subway. When you go to Subway and then they like put like the tiniest bit of spinach on the salad. You know, no. Mate.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Put some more on, mate.
I'm like that. It's the sweet corn for me at Subway. Get the sweet corn in there.
Yeah.
100%. And they're like 3 kernels. I'm like,
nah, mate.
like, no, I need you both hands in there.
Yeah.
Like, chuck it on, and then they're like, "Is that enough?" I'm like, "One more."
Yeah.
But it's so true. But yeah, no, 100%. Probably say the Brussels sprout is a solid.
Yeah.
People love them or hate them.
Yeah.
What about you?
What, a favourite green? I'd probably have to say spinach.
You see, spinach is good because you can have it in a smoothie.
Versatile, I think. Yeah.
You can like fry it off. You can chuck it in anything.
Eat it raw, just on a salad or whatever. Yeah.
Sometimes I've actually, when I was over here, barely eat it. I used to take it out the bag. Like a little rabbit. You know, so I was like, that's only about 6 calories.
Yeah.
It's fine. I just want to chew. Terrible. That's a really, really bad place to be, by the way. And if you are there, I suggest please get some help because it's a horrible place to be. However, you put a whole bag of spinach in something and then you get this much out.
Yeah, true.
You're like,
yeah.
Where'd it go?
It cooks down. You're like,
what does it do? What does it do? And where does it go? Oh, I know where it goes. But yeah.
Okay, what about someone who is skinny and struggling? I'm assuming women mainly, but obviously, probably men do suffer from it as well.
Okay.
How do you think they can like kind of get out of it, or not? You know, like you was literally just said that joke about like eating the spinach and going,
eating the spinach,
6 calories or whatever.
So you say like, if they're on that kind of super,
if they're that end of the level,
yeah.
how could they get out of it and kind of see it, the bigger picture in a sense of like more fulfilled life and
Do you know what? With that one, I think it's a really hard one because dependent on kind of how. It's that end of the scale is mental as such. Whilst it is physical, yes, it comes from a mental place because it often comes from a thing of like control and like being able to control all the factors that surround it, but also trying to kind of nail an idea in your head of what is meant to be there. And it's like, that's so hard because no matter what you look at, it's never enough. And it's actually, it takes acceptance, I guess, from yourself, but realization and going, do you know what, actually this isn't healthy? Because often we know the thoughts in our head are not healthy. We know that things aren't good, we know that we're doing things, we know we're restricting, we know we're over exercising or whatever else, and it's
even
going,
like the bad habit that you're doing or whatever.
And we're often very aware of it, but we kind of say it's okay because I'm trying to get to where I'm going, because I'm, and we bat it away because it's like, if we ignore it, then we're still going to achieve what we're setting out to achieve. And it's, I guess, you know, from any end of the spectrum or anything that you're going through, is accepting, okay, this is perhaps not healthy, and going, I need to find a different way. And I think in life, 100%, we're here to enjoy it. And I think sometimes when you're in that mindset, or in that low mood, or, you know, you're not eating, or, you know, you're kind of scared to go out or whatever, or you are extremely small, that I forgot where my brain's just gone for brain fart. It's just gone beef. That's it. We're forgetting that, you know, we're not getting any enjoyment from that. We're forgetting to enjoy life. And I think that's the thing of going, you know, I think society in general kind of says, oh, you have to be slim, you have to be this, you have to be that. And it's like, you see different trends throughout the years, but as I say, accepting that perhaps your thoughts and your feelings or whatever else are not actually healthy. And this is one thing that I kind of say to people, and I say to myself, is, what do you need? And it's like, we're often trying to fulfill something. Fulfill something that's missing. So with anything, where however I feel, I'm like, okay, what do I need? Or I say to a client, okay, that's fine, that's what you want, but what do you need? And it's going, we need to meet our needs in order to get us to where we want to be, or to be healthy, because often we're chasing what our brain thinks that we want, and it's actually, no, there's probably something fundamental underneath that. And I think, again, it comes back to the internal work. It's looking inwards and going, this isn't healthy, and addressing that and going, I have to make decisions. And then it comes back to that whole like positive thought of, you know, kind of reassuring yourself. And, you know, I remember being in a massive hole and people going, you look amazing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, my brain's going, well, now you can't gain any weight, because if you gain weight, people are going to judge you because they think you look amazing now. And it's like, it's kind of reassuring your inner self, like, it is okay to eat, it is okay to be a bit bigger, it is okay to not train 6 times a week, it is okay. And like, kind of going with the reassurance kind of approach, and trying, again, coming back to that whole like backing yourself, but like, you have to support yourself in what you're doing. And you know what, like, after a certain amount of time, and, you know, we all go through certain patterns, I think, and we like to have control of stuff. But sometimes we have to step outside that comfort zone and go, this is not normal, this is not healthy, this is not what I actually need right now. You know, I'm going to have to fight it. And I think, again, it comes back to that whole thing I said earlier about mental strength and going, I'm going to have to fight you, you know, and kind of go from there. But it is a journey, and it's like by no means easy, and it takes time. Like, fuck me, it takes time. Like,
and that voice in her head is a twat.
Little fucker.
Like,
you know, people, again, I'm slightly crazy, but I label different things. So I have Angela anxiety, I have Harriet hormones, and, you know, different things.
So you like, you know, outsource it, not outsource it, but you like you
they're not me.
Take it
So I'm like,
that's
they're
clever.
different people who are living in here who sometimes like to show up, and I'm like, you know, and someone actually said to me the other day, they're like, did you read this book? And like, is that where you got that from? And I was like, no, I just did it because I'm disassociating them from me. They are not me. They're just here trying to make my life harder. And it's like, you know, for anyone who is having demons or, you know, struggles with anything, I say, you know, you've got to kind of fight them as if they're another person. And I think that's, you know, you can be with anything where you go, well, actually, you know, we know what we want and we know what's right. But these people will fly in like, yoo-hoo, like,
hey buddy, you're like, go away.
You're like, you feeling good? I'm here to fuck it up for you. Like, you're happy? Not anymore. And it's like, you know, sometimes I literally just tell them to fuck off. I'm like, fuck off, like, just leave me alone. And, you know, because it's that kind of disassociation. Because I think as well, a lot of people, as soon as we hit a small hurdle, we're so quick to kind of look and go,
crumble,
well, now what? And it's like, you've got to find ways around it, or you've got to find ways to get over it and whatnot, and actually just keep pushing that kind of that mental game. And you know what, sometimes it will work and sometimes it won't, and that is okay. And I think that's another thing, is accepting that if things do not go right, it does not matter. If you fuck up your diet like one day, it does not matter, but don't allow it to derail you. If you miss training, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, just go the next day. You know, it's what about you is it's about what you do most of the time, not some of the time. And it's like, we're gonna have things crop up in our head, or we're gonna have things in life that get in the way, but it's
just an event's gonna happen that's gonna fuck up your
but
training plan that you can't go, and then
it's your ability to be able to overcome that and adapt and just kind of go, right, okay, that's in the past, and carry on. And you know what, I think with a lot of things in life, whether it be exercise driven, career driven, you know, all of these things, we get so fixated on this end goal and like we have to get there that we forget to enjoy the journey, because the journey is the part. Like that's where the most of the stuff happens, because once we've got it, well then what? And it's like we forget that we let everything overconsume our lives, and it's like, enjoy it, let your hair down. If you miss a day, who cares? If your diet didn't go according to plan, who cares? But so long as in general you are consistent, and most of the time you are hitting those consistent spots to where you want to be, until then just have fun, like, you know.
So in other areas of your life, do you do the same thing?
In terms
like work, sleep, you're pretty good on your sleep, food, you're pretty good on your food. So work. What about work? What are you like?
Okay, so this is an admission, and this is only
podcast first, guys.
This is exactly. This has only kind of come to light, I guess, in probably the last couple of years, that I have always been a workaholic, like 100%. When I was little, like when I say little, so like, I think I was about 12, I had a paper round. Then by 13, I had a paper round and I was working in the local pub. Then by 14, I had a paper round, I was working in the local
did exactly the same thing.
And I cleaned a house for a lady twice a week. And then by the time I was 16, you know, I worked at the pub, but I also worked in the hotel. And, you know, it was always that thing that
there's more. You're filling that gap. You've got
to keep working. And then throughout life, you know, at times I'd have 3-4 jobs at a time, because it was like, let's keep busy. And
I was earning like 50 quid a week when I was like 12. I was like balling, mate.
But also, riddle me this, right? And many 90s to noughties people will realise this, is if you had a paper round, if you did Monday to Friday, you got £15. But if you just did, Monday to Saturday, you worked 6 days, you got £15. But if you did Sunday on its own, you got a tenner. But you couldn't get the Sunday shift. So I did 6 days for 15 quid, but they did 1 day for
I think it's because did you ever do the Sunday one?
No,
because the Sunday papers were like,
but you couldn't get the Sunday
beast.
round.
You couldn't even fit them through the letterbox. You're there like,
exactly.
They haven't got a front page.
Exactly. But you know, as from a young age, I've always been working. I've always been workaholic, and then I think.
Where do you think that comes from?
My dad.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
Like my dad has always been very business driven, like go out, get a good job, blah blah blah. Whereas my mum's a bit more like blasé, like darling, don't worry, everything so long as you're happy.
Just
like,
find yourself a man.
You know, she's just kind of like, darling, you know, just don't worry about it. Whereas my dad's like, do worry. You know, and actually I would say, you know, as he got older, that changed. But from a very young age, the influence was that I had to go out and work. And, you know, we were always taught to make our own money and look after ourselves and all of this kind of
saving
stuff.
and all that stuff.
Now, exactly. Now, to an extent, it was a good thing. However, it became unhealthy. And this is, I think, something I mentioned earlier, that I was healthy on the outside, but on the inside was the unhealthiest I'd ever been, probably maybe like 2 years ago.
Okay.
Because the more stressed I was, the more I threw myself into work. The more I threw myself into work, the poorer my diet was, the poorer my sleep was, the poorer my mental state was. But I was like, right, but if I just keep working, then I'll make more money. And I keep going. And then it came to a head. And it was like, shit, what are you working for?
Yeah.
What are you doing all of this for? You are pleading to people to be healthy, to do this, to change their work hours. They're working too much.
Yeah.
And then genuinely, there was one day where I honestly had an epiphany. And as I say, I think I mentioned, I was working with this lady, this private doctor, and she kind of does a bit of life coaching as well. And, you know, I kind of sat there and I just burst into tears. And I was like, I am the most unhealthy person I know.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit. I am so unhealthy, and you know, like everyone's looking at me like she trains, she eats well, like
she's doing well financially and all that.
But I was so unhealthy, so I would say I now apply it to my work life, where I changed my hours. It took rock bottom to be able to go.
What did that change look like?
So changing my hours, changing. It sounds like the way I spoke to myself, the way I dealt with certain things, I guess, but
Yeah.
also I worked massively internally,
Mm.
and it meant a lot of tears, and it meant a lot of kind of sad things, and you know, and actually setting kind of boundaries with myself and going, no, Kat, like,
Yeah.
you have to make a change.
Like, don't
And
answer the email. Don't answer
exactly.
the WhatsApp.
You don't go on here at this point. You don't work extra hours. This is the hours you're working. This is what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I'd say now I have balance in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
element
yeah.
of my life.
Okay.
But previous,
Yeah.
no.
No.
But I thought it was healthy to sell my soul to work, but from a really young age.
Yeah.
And actually, I think a lot of people do that. And I look at a lot of my clients and I'm like, please slow down, please take some time off, please just give yourself a couple of hours a day.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, as I say, we live in this life, we're on this Ferris wheel, you know, we think we're going to get off and then it's like, oh, something happens, we have to hop back on.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
going.
It's like that hedonic adaptation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, and we will forever keep running on high functioning stress. And some people love it and others are, you know, I look at my brother and he's so laid back, he's going, like, he's literally going back.
Yeah.
Where he's going. But that's the point. Like,
Yeah,
he's just so chilled. But for a lot of people, we have really stressful lives or whatever else. We're trying to juggle everything. But it's actually, again, allowing yourself and accepting that perhaps you have to pull back slightly or you need to make a change. And I beg my corporate high-rise clients to be like, you know, just, I know you enjoy certain elements, but you're tired. You're telling me you're tired.
Yeah.
You're telling me your mood is low.
And what's the reason you're doing it as well? I think that's
exactly.
a good question.
And I
like...
think that's what we've got to ask ourselves is, you know, for anyone, why are you doing it? Like, you know, what's it all for? Because at the end of the day, you know, without sounding morbid, we're all headed for the same place, you know. But actually, again, it's like I said with the food, enjoy it. Like, you have to have some level of enjoyment because you get so much more out of life in general. And, you know, it's like when I started enjoying my training completely transformed because it was no longer based on the ideal image.
It's not like a drudgery, is it?
No.
As well, you're not. Yeah, I had a personal trainer and I hated it.
Yeah,
The food and the fitness. I was just like,
but it's one of those because, and this is what I always say to clients is like, you know, I ask them about their sleep. I ask them about things in their lives because I'm like, this, like when I say how are you, I don't mean, and this is one thing that really annoys me because how are you is the biggest question you can ask anyone.
Yeah.
But we all go surface level. Yeah,
Yeah,
fine,
good.
thanks,
Yeah,
how are
good.
you?
Yeah.
And it's like I will go to a client and like, how are you? And I'm like, yeah, I get that. And like, now tell me exactly.
Yeah,
how you are.
yeah.
And like, I'm stressed. I'm tired.
Yeah.
The kids, this, that, and the other. And it's like, okay, that's the shit I need to know because actually, like I say, it's holistic. It's everything. Everything feeds in to health and well-being. But we think if we go to the gym, we're really healthy. No.
Yeah, you get you see like especially younger people.
Yeah.
I see it at my gym. They go to the gym thinking they're all healthy, like especially the blokes and all that shit, drinking fucking like caffeine at 6-7 o'clock, and you're like, what are you doing, man? Like a whole tin of Monster or whatever, which is like 300 milligrams of caffeine.
Oh my god, no, it gives me great anxiety.
The dad in me is just like, no.
Yeah.
No.
I forget you're a dad.
Yeah.
That's mad. Like mad.
19.
Yeah.
Young.
Well, there you go. Young.
Have you got plans to have kids?
No. So actually, I don't want children.
You don't? Why?
No. Honestly, this is worrying because obviously being female, people they just assume. Now, I would say I could change my mind.
Yeah.
But at this point in my life, I don't want them.
No.
Purely for the fact that it's taken me almost 30 years to figure a hell of a lot of shit out. Like, a hell of a lot of shit and to live kind of healthily as well. I guess I'm at that stage where I feel quite driven and quite ambitious and like I've got things in my head and I'm like, you know, and I want to be able to have those options if I want to take them.
Yeah.
And, you know, personally for me, that's just where I am. And also, like I always said, I don't want to fuck up a child.
No.
Like that sounds really bad, but also
honestly, like anything you do, you're like, oh shit.
Exactly. It's like, is it the right thing?
Yeah.
Thing? And it's, you know, that might sound kind of really not offensive. I don't think that's the right word, but to some people, they're like, well, what do you mean?
Selfish or whatever. Yeah.
You know, and also as well, I look at the ways of the world and I'm like, you know, we say about kind of cost of living and, you know, the way things are going with technology and everything like that. And I'm like, I personally don't know if I want to bring a small human into this world with the way in the direction that we're headed. And it's like, you know, and a lot of people are like, you'll change your mind, you should have babies, blah blah blah, and I'm like, but at this point in time I do not want them.
No.
And I may change my mind. But it is okay to change your mind in anything that you do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, well, you've changed your mind.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, because I'm entitled to
Yeah,
change my
do
fucking
what I
mind.
want,
Like,
yeah.
Exactly. You know, but you said last week, yeah, but I changed my mind. Like, you know, and I just think, yeah, for me personally, however, if I did have a child, 100% it would have a little barbell and, you know, whatever else. And
training with
little
you in the
weights
gym and whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Doing like little baby box steps.
Yeah.
Like,
Toddler stuff. Like,
yeah,
there'd be a toddler
exactly.
class at Catalyst.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, whatever, you know, if it did ever happen, I changed my mind 100%. I'd, you know, but it'd be encouraging, you know, and educating to lead a healthy kind of lifestyle, and as well, I guess, opening their mind, because I think that's another thing is, you know, with children is they're so creative and they're so like, but they're so confused as well. But we've got to like
Everything's new as well. It's really cool, isn't it? Like,
exactly.
I love it.
Like
the childhood.
New. Yeah.
What's the word for it? What's the word?
Not discover. I was going to say.
No, it's like that. Yeah, childhood mind, isn't it? Where it's like everything. Like I see it with my like nephew. Yeah. I'm trying to work out what it was then. What relation he is to me. That boy. Yeah, hi.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can just see it, like, and he's like, oh wow, like everything's new, and like obviously their brains are like firing, and the neurons are like creating. I find that really fascinating.
Oh my god, 100%. And kids, you know, the thing is as well, it comes back to the thing is, kids will follow their parents or they'll follow their biggest influences because that's what we're impacted by.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you've got, you know, someone who's going to give you a really positive impact and educate and kind of lead you down the right path, you know, is fantastic. You know, and you know, I say about my parents, like my mum calling me out for sizing, and my dad kind of driving me down the business route, being like, you've got to work hard and everything. But by the same token, they taught me so much. And you know, it's all
and it kind of like is like your own journey, isn't it?
Oh,
so they kind of like you go down that way, and then you're like, oh yeah,
exactly.
And then you get there, don't you?
Obviously, being the stubborn bitch that I am, you know, they're like, you know, when I was younger, don't do this. Fine. Like, you know, and we all do. And like when someone says, you know, you can't or don't, or that's risky or whatever it is, you're like, well, fuck you, I'll show you.
Watch me.
Exactly, 100%. I feel like you're that kind of person as well, where you're like, I
hate people telling me what to do.
Yeah, and it's like that. That's probably why the personal trainer didn't work.
What's that?
That's probably why your personal trainer didn't work very well.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. No, yeah. I just think I'm very much like an individual in a sense of like I like discovering things. I like trying things and then going. Yeah. Like the gym, like I really get it now, and I'm like, oh, I've got like a cool routine that I've kind of worked out myself, like a push pull routine. Before it was like a bro split, and I was just like, oh, fuck me, like
this is
chest,
the thing.
legs, back, shoulders, arms.
Yeah,
I was like,
and this is another thing actually that's like really kind of led me into is you don't have to train like the bro split, you know.
No,
you don't have to train what everyone else is training.
Yeah.
And what works.
And if you want to do
what.
calisthenics, you can do calisthenics.
Yeah,
And if you want to do like deadlift and then calisthenics, do it.
Yeah.
Like, do what you fuck you want.
You know, at a time, like with people in general, they'll be like, oh, what are you doing that for?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, because that's what I enjoy and that's what I want.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like, I fucking hate that. Like,
yeah.
That. It's like, well, I'm not asking you to do it. Like, do what works for you.
Yeah.
Whether, you know, with sleep, with food, with training, like whatever it is in life. Do
you
what
ask
works
someone
for
to do
you.
a burpee, they're like, don't like that.
And you know what? I have clients and they're like, you're never going to get me to do one of those.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Like, that's not your jam. Like, whereas others, like, they love it and they're like, beast me, do this.
Yeah.
You know? But it's based on it's an individual basis and it is with absolutely everything. It's all, the only way you'll get the most out of life in general is if you live it for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's with absolutely everything. Like,
and try different things as well.
Oh my
otherwise
God,
yeah.
Yeah, literally, if you get an opportunity to try something or you see something that you think, like I've always said I would like to try Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Ah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Like, I just think it just looks like something that kind of draws
mental,
me to it.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But they have, like, in that is a very kind of, I guess, with martial arts, they're very respectful. When you're on the mat, you know, it's
fight,
games
and then when
like,
when you're
exactly.
off, yeah.
But when you're off, there's a lot of respect that goes on behind it. But you know, unfortunately, at the moment with timings and everything, I just can't get there. But you know what? One day I maybe will. And people will be like, well, why is she doing jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Because I fancy trying it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Might go to one session and never go back. Might go to one session and sign up for 10 more.
Yeah.
Like, but this is the thing. It is trial and error. I didn't mean to fall into this job. You know, it was like I kind of enjoyed it, and then I took the leap, and it worked out.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to fall into the training that I did. I just tried it because I was like, oh well, I'll give that a go.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's become a massive part of my life. Like, you know, and you say the same for yourself. You know, you've taken things where you've gone, oh well, I'll give it a go, and then suddenly you find yourself you're doing it week in, week out.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know. So I think 100% take opportunities, try new things, and just fucking jump.
Yeah.
Like, life's too short.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Do you feel like there's anything we've missed?
My singing. My singing.
You're singing.
My jingle.
I don't need a jingle. I've got a drum and bass to like.
I don't know. No, so you hit on sleep, food, training,
Wellness.
blah blah blah.
Do you do any meditation or anything?
So interesting. I used to use an app.
Okay.
So
Headspace.
Yeah.
Okay.
So used to use that
Standard.
for like anxiety because it was free. It was
Yeah.
Because you know, back at the time when I was like, however young, I was like, I haven't got enough money for this.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
on like 14k salary. I was like, I'll just take the free app. But so I don't meditate as such. I have done previously. I find it really hard. Like, and actually in lockdown I used it. And I do like 5 minutes, and 5 minutes, even that was hard. Like, because your brain just goes. Nah,
Yeah,
monkey
monkey
brain.
brain,
You say, like,
yeah.
at night when your thoughts come in. But what I do is I tend to use cold water. So I love open water or cold water. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get in as much this year because I decided to have a tattoo and it can't get wet whilst it's healing. Blah, blah, blah,
Excuses and all that.
It is excuses. It is.
It's really cold in the lake at the minute.
No, but my tattoo is currently healing. Like it can't go in water.
I'm joking.
But yeah, no, cold water is.
Yeah.
I don't know if have you ever done cold water dipping?
Swimming, yeah, I do it at Lake 32.
You do, but have you done it like when it's freezing, like just dip, like literally just go.
Just go in. Yeah, once I fucking got a bit like cold. Huh?
Did you almost die?
Yeah, not in the water, but like after, I just like couldn't get warm again for ages.
Hypothermia.
Like semi-hypothermia, I think. Yeah, I was in the car. I was like, "Fuck me!" Like, oh.
Yeah. So I would just like to caveat this point.
Yeah.
If you are going in cold water, please everyone, like genuinely look it up because it is serious. People
Yeah. No.
But I would use cold water. Like I'd be having a bad day, my head would be all over the place. I'd be like, right, I'm just gonna go to the water.
Yeah.
And would get in there, and literally it'd just be a couple of minutes.
Do you still go swimming?
Not as much.
No.
It's just, again, it's a timing thing, and then it's getting annoying with the mud on my feet. And it's just like a little bit like, can't deal with the mud. There's OCD coming in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then getting in that water, and then just everything kind of floats away, and it's like the whole whatever was going on up here just disappears. And so I say rather than meditation, cold water, definitely. And I do recommend safely. Please make sure it's safe.
I find if I have a bad day and I tell myself like get up and have a cold shower, that sets the day off right.
You see, so here's the funny thing. I have a like ultimate respect there because my idea of hell is getting in my shower and switching it on to cold. But I will get in a freezing cold lake at like 2-3 degrees.
I kind of just it doesn't. It's not the same thing as getting in a lake because a lake you've obviously like submerged.
Yeah.
Whereas a cold shower you can kind of like turn around and do your back and then you go back to the front and then you're like your body like warms up again.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I think I have respect for you and anyone who could do that where they can just go right. I'll just get in. Hello.
I think it's on.
Don't tell me we've recorded the whole podcast and it's not been on.
Keep talking.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm just wondering if you're a bit quieter.
We made it. I
just think your mic's a little bit quieter than mine.
Hello, it's me.
Oh, mate, you're like my fucking daughter.
I'm sorry, I'm so
She gets a
distracted.
mic and then she like starts singing or doing something. I'm like, no, don't play about with it.
You're like that. This is not This is not for fun.
Not a toy.
This is not a toy. That's me like, yeah. But yeah, no, that's good that you can go in the cold shower.
Yeah.
Fair play to you.
I don't like it.
No.
But I just know the feeling.
Good point on that one.
What?
Of not liking it, but doing it anyway, is we're not going to like everything.
Half the shit you do in life, you're not going to like.
Oh my God,
like,
no.
The hard thing,
Like,
going to the gym is hard. Like, I don't want to lift a weight that, is heavy.
but every time you go, you're defying what your body is like. I hate this. I don't like this. And it's like, some things, as I say, we have to enjoy life, and it's finding ways to get enjoyment from it. But in general, people are like, I don't like it.
It's like enjoying life.
It's
like, so that cold shower, I don't like it, but I know the day after is going to be fucking awesome. So I'm going to dominate at work and whatever. Like, do you know
exactly.
What I mean?
And if it makes you more alert, if you're like, yes, that's like done it for me.
Yeah.
But we have to be willing to go outside our comfort zones and go, well, actually, do you know what? This is going to be hard, or this is going to be shit, or this is not what I enjoy doing, or whatever else. And sometimes you have to, again, it comes to that sacrifice of going, sometimes you have to do shit that you don't want to do, or shit that you don't like, and actually stop. I don't know. I need to be careful what I say here because I get really passionate. Like, not really a little bitch, but like, we could all live a very sheltered, very comfortable lifestyle. But if you want more,
too sheltered now.
Yeah,
way
fucking
too sheltered.
Go for it. Like, just fucking leave.
Yeah.
Like, just try stuff and get out there and push yourself out your comfort
everyone
zone.
Just earns a standard living salary.
Yeah.
Progressively grows higher, gets a bigger house, buys a 4x4, gets a family, gets a dog, then a family.
Yeah.
And then does that standard society thing.
Yeah.
And but then you look at people. Right, one example, and it's a really weird example, but Idris Elba.
Okay.
He's done loads of shit. Like, he's rapped on albums.
Has he?
Yeah, like, you know that song Boasty? Boasty.
I was gonna say I think it's best I don't start singing it. I know the one.
Yeah, you know the one.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's on that, and then he's acting. He's doing loads of other stuff. And it's like because he wants to and he can, and it's
exactly.
Like, just have that mindset of like, fuck it, yeah.
Exactly. The thing is, as well, you say about like people earning like that standard living and whatever else, and it's the same that applies in like the gym as well. Is once you reach that goal, you would constantly want more. It's like we get that next pay rise, we want more.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes actually you have to say to yourself, well, what was the journey getting here? Like, that was more part of it. That was more important. But also sometimes is more what I need. And actually, you know what, like I said, about work and stuff, the question you asked, it was accepting that actually, you know what, having more money meant nothing. Because I just literally, without your health, you have no wealth. And it's that kind of thing. And it's like, your health is your wealth.
Yeah.
And sometimes accepting that is enough. And actually, maybe it's actually better to have less. And like that could be seen across kind of all sorts of spectrums.
Everyone's keeping up with the Joneses, aren't they? In the sense of like, oh, but he's got this and she's got that.
Oh my
car
God, yeah.
And whatever, and yeah.
This is the thing that drives me fucking nuts. And like, I do always say, like, if I could build a little cabin in the woods, and live there and just live like a really kind of,
I'd have a massive fucking library,
eco sort of kind of setup where you get away from society, where you break away from it, because it is like you say, it's like you have to earn salary, you have to own this nice car, you have to have a house, you have to have a dog,
amount of kids,
a certain amount of kids, you got to be on this amount of money, you need to be able to go on these holidays,
driving
all of this
car,
lot. It's like, do you fuck? Like, define what you want for your life. What do you actually want your life to look like? Because I used to be driven by, oh, well, I need this and I have to have that and I got to do this and I need this house. And you know what? At one point I had it and I was like, well, hang on a minute. Yeah. And I realised it's because my needs weren't being met. Yeah. Because I had just done what society had asked me to do or told me that I had to do. But actually, no, you don't. And that's what I would say to people. And that's the biggest thing that I would say to people in life is not what do you want, what do you need? And actually address the needs. Because then you will live a life of fulfillment. Yeah. So, yeah. So, sorry, got a bit passionate.
That's right. I totally feel the same. There's a saying, it was like, the biggest... Oh, fuck, what was it? Something about the salary. It's like No, can't remember. It's gone.
It will come to you later.
Good saying. It's a good saying.
You can edit it in. Hi.
Hey guys. At a certain point in the video.
At a certain point here.
I'll look for the book. I know the book is in. So yeah. Right. Actually, let's go on books. Yeah. quickly.
Books.
Books.
Ah, okay.
Favorite books. Favorite non-fiction.
Oh, that's hard. Oh no. What's yours? Because give me a chance to think. This is where I started going to turn it back around on you.
Mine's called the Almanac of Naval Ravikant.
Yeah.
So it's basically a guy who is kind of like a philosopher, but not a philosopher.
Okay.
Owns a company called AngelList, which is like an investment company.
Okay.
Made loads of money. Kind of realised that he doesn't need all the money, and then starts turning it on to like happiness, wellness, meditation, and all this. Puts out tweets. Has only done a few podcasts, but someone's made a book from the tweets and the podcast.
Oh.
Of his conversation, but in a book form, so
Yeah.
you can just like go to it and you're like, done.
Love it.
It's like 200 pages and there's fucking like I've read it 4 times now.
Wow.
So like,
fair enough.
it's one of those ones. If I'm in a low, I can read it and then it just like, boom,
yeah,
gone.
but that's nice that you've got something that you can go to. It just brings you back up. And I think actually books are incredibly powerful. So I stopped reading for years, and I mean years. And then I realised the power of books, but also, you know, whether it be non-fiction, whether it be kind of educative, whatever it is, you know, they're so powerful. And there's little things that you read and you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know, it can completely change your day around. And, you know, I've read a lot of, whether it be like, I was going to say autobiographies, but I don't know if it really falls into that category. Probably a mixture where it's kind of like a mix between autobiography and education. Where suddenly it sparks ideas and whatever else. And, you know, I love anything that's got a murder in it. Anything, if there's a murder, I'm in it. I'm oh, yes. But I've got a confession. I like to read the last page or the last chapter.
Oh, no.
At the beginning to know what's going to happen. And it's the same with films, like, or a program. I'm like, just tell me what's going to happen, or I Google it. Because
why?
I have to know the ending before I continue the read. Otherwise, I won't read the book. 100% I will not read the book. So I was reading one.
The Queen's Gambit.
Yeah.
I'm watching it ages. Oh no, I didn't watch it, and then like I watched it, and I was like, oh, so good. But like I didn't want to do that thing of like binge watching it.
Yeah.
So it's like every Saturday, that's my program to watch.
Love it.
Evening Saturday program, and then like I enjoy it, if you know what I mean. Like all the lights go off. It's like a movie moment. I'm like, right. And it's one of those ones you kind of had to watch to get the like feeling of it. It's not like got that quick jump cuts and stuff. So yeah.
Fair enough.
Go back onto books. Sorry.
Apologies. Well, no, just anything where someone gets murdered. I don't know.
Non-fiction.
Oh, I don't know.
What's had the most impact on you?
What's had the most impact on me?
What book have you read and you've been like?
So actually, interestingly, have you heard of James Smith? He's done 2 books.
PT, yeah.
Yeah, so he's done the Diet Coach.
I'm not a diet, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not a diet. No,
I'm not a coach, and then there's something about a diet book.
I'm not a coach, and I'm not a diet book. Those 2.
Yeah.
But it's the way in which, I guess, the style in which he writes, but also he writes in such a way that it kind of hits home, and it's like he asks you to ask questions to yourself and things like that, and it's like. Okay. You know, there's a lot of powerful things which I already knew, but I'd done a lot of work on. And I kind of say as I already knew, but it would be like that thing where, you know, you say you open up a book and you'd go, well, actually, yeah, you read that and suddenly your mood's completely turned around. And you'd be like, yes, like I support myself, I back myself. Yeah. And I actually started reading a different book on holiday, which was The 4-Hour Workweek.
Have you ever read Tim Ferriss, yeah. Know that one.
I've got a massive book of his somewhere, which... It's very random, but I need to figure out where it is.
What's it called?
Was it him that wrote it?
Yeah, it is him that wrote it, but it's from his podcast guest.
Is that what it's from?
So it's like... Oh, fuck, what's it called?
It will come again. It will come.
Upstairs.
We'll pop this back in later.
We'll link below.
Yeah, we'll keep.
I don't have Amazon affiliate links or whatever.
Yeah, editing it in. But like the 4-Hour Workweek, and you know, I'd say it kind of, when I was reading it, applies more to like corporate, but it does make you ask a lot of questions, like in terms of what we're doing and the amount of time we waste.
I'll tell you what, a book you really like: 4,000 Weeks.
Oh, okay.
Oliver Berkman.
Okay.
So that's a standard life.
Okay.
Of an adult, of a human. Should I say an adult?
Of a human.
Yeah, but he was like a productivity geek.
Okay.
Doing all the things to hack his time and be most productive and all this shit.
Yeah.
And then he basically kind of said like, what's the point of it? Like life is really short if you look at it. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
There's like 8 generations that we can go back to Henry VIII. You know what I mean? Like it's like
Yeah.
grandma,
Yeah.
Henry VIII, and it's like fucking hell, that's not that long ago.
No, it's not actually when you put it like that. Like I think as well you say about like productivity and stuff. I think we often think we're being productive, but we're not. Absolute like sucker for it. And this is something I had to learn because I used to be overproductive. I'd say it's like I was so driven, so
But there's like
work motivated.
productive, and then there's like productive posting social media, posting a fucking reel or whatever.
Exactly,
like,
but then as well, as I say, we think we're being productive, but we're not. But then we're like, oh, I'm being really productive because I'm doing things.
I've answered all these emails.
It's
You're
like
oh,
that, and it's actually
yeah.
like, was that productive? Probably not.
No.
Like, you know, I think I've lost a lot of time to thinking I'm productive.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm not. I've produced nothing. It's like, you know, but it is those things where it makes you question. I think as you get older and we say, that, you know, wiser, kind of, we learn a lot of things along the way. And we learn from our experiences and everything like that. And that's when we go, okay, perhaps what I thought is not quite. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Listen to the audiobook as well.
me, do I?
Of 4,000 Weeks.
Oh, listen to
He's
it.
got such a nice voice.
Has he?
He should read every single book on
That
Audible.
might help me fall asleep.
Yeah.
No, the problem is it will
Honestly,
take me about 4,000
like
weeks to listen to it because every time I'll be like, boom. And
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
the problem with picking up books at night. I can read about 2 pages and, like, bang, out. So, yeah. Although, saying that, interestingly, actually, we're sat here recording a podcast. Do you listen to any other podcasts?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Tim Ferriss Show. Human Lab. The Modern Wisdom by Chris Willix.
That one I've not heard of.
That's a really good one.
Okay.
Some Joe Rogans, but it depends on the guest.
Yeah.
And then Cal Newport one.
Never heard.
He's a productivity guy.
Okay. Maybe I need to listen to it.
The irony. I think that's it. Yeah. What about you?
So
I filter between podcast and audiobooks, so
yeah, so if I'm out walking, if I'm trying to increase my step count, I'd often put on a podcast. And I listen to, you've probably heard of him, Stephen Bartlett, Diary of a CEO.
Oh yeah, Diary of a CEO.
So
yeah.
I often like a lot of the guests he has on that. I'm a bit picky about which ones I listen to because I started listening to one the other day. I was like, no, I'm out.
No.
Like, you know, if it's not kind of got me from
Not
the beginning,
clicking,
but
yeah.
you know, he does some with like the health and fitness industry and you know, kind of controversial topics, etc. But also, I think I found a lot of his stuff kind of resonates, and you know, I find it very, very interesting, and I am very much of the thought of kind of looking inwards and looking kind of backwards as well in a way to get to where we're going.
Do you journal?
No, and this is something I've been considering, and the problem is I feel
Don't
like
over fucking think it.
yeah, this is the thing.
You will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'd be like, right, I'm gonna journal, and then
You like
suddenly,
you feel like you need to fill the page, and you're like, yeah.
But how do you journal? That
So-
might sound like a really silly question.
No. Right. I did exactly the same thing as you. As I need to fill the page and all this shit.
Yeah.
And then I just got a book once. I think I made a thing of it, like buying it on Amazon,
Yeah,
getting new pens, like
you have to. Yeah, if you're gonna do something
0.3
like
nib
that, yeah.
pens because I really like that size.
That's very specific. A 0.3 nib pen and will get you into your journaling career.
But it's like that kind of mindset of like, I've done this. It's like that. Here's the pen.
Yeah.
Here's the book. Here's the like little routine of like
Yeah,
pen, book, journal, coffee made.
this
Journal.
sounds silly. What do you write in it?
So, I could go and get you it. So weekly, I'll do a weekly plan.
Yeah,
I'll do a personal plan and a business plan.
yeah,
And then I will show you later. But the personal plan has like fitness, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
yeah,
11,000 steps, push, and then whatever
yeah.
cardio.
Kind of defining
Da-da-da.
what.
Food, what I'm going to eat for like just the meal, like
Yeah.
the dinner, meal. Because I normally eat like yogurt and snacks and stuff during the day. So
Yeah.
that's like kind of covered. And then like personal development, so it's making sure I'm doing Dutch. And then like trying to post the YouTube video and trying to make a blog post. It's like, all right, I have posted a blog post
Yeah.
with a little square box.
Okay.
I find I have a dotted journal now.
Like
Instead of a lined
I know
one.
what you mean. Yeah.
It's just dots.
Yeah. Got you.
Then on the work one, it's like @live, Beloit, personal.
Yeah.
So At Live is this stuff.
Yeah.
Beloit is the candle brand, and then personal is like YouTube. So like, yeah, I've got edit small videos from YouTube.
Yeah.
That's one of them. And then morning, I just put like morning world. So my morning journal is so much fucking better than my evening journal. Okay, like going back to that point of like, I'm a twat in the evening. My morning journal, I go for my walk, come in, make my little coffee, and then it's like that little morning world. Like I check my like sleep things. It's like I slept 7 hours and whatever.
Yeah.
Had a sleep score of whatever. I feel good today. And then I kind of work out like what I need to do. Mm-hmm. So like today it's like record podcast, have a meeting, do something else.
Yeah.
And then I'll highlight with those. Love a good highlight as well.
Do you love a highlighter?
Yeah.
But it can get quite chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if I'm feeling like stressed or just overwhelmed, I like tend to find that that helps.
Yeah.
Trying to do like no faff as well.
Yeah.
So journaling helps if I get like urges and shit of like wanting to watch porn and things like that.
Yeah.
So just, yeah.
But that's good because it means like if you've got something which you're trying to not avoid, I don't think that's avoid, but you're trying to not go to.
No, it's like that compulsion thing and you're like,
yeah. But actually,
no, here's a stop. Yeah.
This is interesting because it was like, you know, that actually is a really interesting point because it actually came up on Stephen Bartlett's podcast, but she did something about cue, routine, reward. So like the cue of the thought, I'm going to go to this. The routine is to go to that.
Yeah.
And your reward is whatever you get from it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But actually you've broken the routine by going to your journal. And actually I think that's really interesting.
And the thing is, like, don't make it neat. Don't make it anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you want to have nothing in it. And the thing is, right, fuck, I do this for stupid reason. It's an £8 journal, but I'm like, oh, I'm wasting paper.
No, not at all.
No, but in my head, I'm like...
Yeah, your demons are coming in like,
yeah.
Waste of paper.
Well, that's such a waste of money.
Yeah.
You spent £8 on that. And I'm like, you twat, that's £8. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, go and fucking do a bit of work.
I get you. That's fair enough.
So, yeah, you just got to like, fuck it. If it wasted a page, then it's wasted a page. It's
exactly. Like, but it's part of...
If it's unneat, it's unneat. It doesn't matter.
But I like that because like in years to come, you can look back and you can go, like this is a really like random time.
It's really useful. It's like at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So instead of like doing New Year's resolutions, you do like a yearly review and you just sit down and you like just flick through your journal and you're like, oh, okay, that was when I fucked up. And then you kind of like look back and you're like, all right, well, I was eating shit or I was sleeping shit or I went to a festival and then that fucked it up a little bit. And then,
But actually that's really important because often we see what we haven't achieved as failures, but actually what we should look at is like all the other bits that we've done.
Like,
and like,
the whole package. And okay.
And also as well, like we say about ideas, like an idea is from the offset is not gonna, you can't just make it happen like that. You know, it's gonna take time. It's actually remembering like, in February last year I wrote this goal and actually and I had this idea and this is what it looks like now, and it may transpire to be something completely different, but actually it's cool that you can go back and look. And actually it's funny you say that because as a kid I've got diaries from when I was a kid. I mean, it was all about boys, don't get me wrong, like, you know, it's like I fancied like blah blah, like I fancied this person. It's like I was like, shit, hun, you fancied a lot of people very quickly, and you change your mind a lot. Like, I have DS, like all of this, like, you know. But it's really interesting, and there's some random things I've written in there which I would never remember now because as a kid, you know, you can't remember everything. But actually, it's the same as an adult, like you know, but in a more kind of constructive way where you go, this is what life looks like, but also these are my goals, these are my aspirations, and this is what I'm trying to achieve on a day-to-day or weekly or whatever basis. And I actually think that's really good because, and I'm going to, here we go, I'm making a pact. It's just like the brownie guides. I don't know, I went to it like 4 times and whatever it is. I'm going to try journaling. I'm going to do journaling.
Date it as well.
Okay. There we go.
Because you fucking, I've got journals that I didn't date, and then you're like,
well, I don't know when that was.
When was that? Honestly, you like, yearly review, you're like, oh, fuck.
Well, that could have been...
trying to work it out, you're like, when did I write that? And then,
exactly. Well, at least you've got them, you know something happened at some point in your life.
I did something.
Exactly, I did something. Go me.
Tick.
Yeah, exactly. I like that, though.
No, it's, and I think, it's just fun as well. Like it's just helps me get out of my head
That's good though.
in the morning.
Yeah.
But then in the evening, I'm a bit not as good.
Here's the question.
Yeah.
So you say about getting out your own head. Do you find that at night it's more entrepreneurial, and do you find it in the morning it's more kind of like personal in your head, or do you find it's like a mix of the two?
Depends, yeah. A mix of the two on the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I just get to the end of the day and then I just like, oh, I haven't done enough. Is that feeling of like not doing enough?
So this is the thing. We
It's
always
like
feel like
you're
we've
saying
not
it.
done enough.
Yeah.
We're like that because we're trying to fulfill what we think we need to do.
It's like I spent however long we've done doing this podcast.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh, but that wasn't productive. And it's like, because you were just chatting. Do you know what I mean?
This is what the whole point is, but you've hit the goal of recording the podcast.
Yeah, I've recorded a podcast.
Yeah, and that
but
was
then
what
in my
you need
head,
to
I'm
do.
like, I need to edit it.
But then you're putting pressure on yourself
Yeah.
to go, I've got to get this done.
I jump to the next thing straight away. So
Yeah.
it's like, all right, I've done this, done.
Yeah.
Next thing. And
Exactly.
then it's like, okay.
But do you have a timescale in which you want this done by? Which is
No,
not.
there's
yeah,
no. There's
exactly.
No, yeah.
So
It's just-
it's going, but then you've got to go, I need to release the pressure and just go, right, I'll deal
It'll
with
get
it
done
when I
when
deal
it's
with
done.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
yeah.
but also when we apply pressure, now it's sometimes there's good pressure and sometimes there's bad pressure. And I say if you, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes that voice in your head is like a good coach and it's like, come on guys.
Like, let's go. And then other
maybe
times
you didn't do
it's like.
as well last time. It's not, not.
But other times it's to our detriment.
Yeah.
Because we then feel so stressed and so pressurized by what we want to achieve. And we like have to have it done by this date. But why?
Yeah.
Again, but why? But also then there's good pressure where it's like, right, my deadline is here. And you know, if you sit here and do nothing all these days, and you get to the day before, you're going to have to perform and you're going to have to get out. And I don't think that's a bad thing.
I think setting deadlines is quite a good thing.
Yeah. I think deadlines, yes.
It does make you go, I need to do some work. And then there's that kind of like subtle pressure of stress. Is a stress like releasing your body, isn't it? So the stress of like, oh shit, I've got to get it done. And then so then you kind of, your brain goes switch on.
And I think a lot of us are like this. So I did a course. It took me 18 months to do.
Yeah.
I could have got it done in about 10 or 12 weeks. Yeah. And it wasn't until the final week where I sat and I actually did the course. and I mean I was stressed to the fucking nines. Like I was not sleeping. I was like, I gotta do it. I'm gonna fail it. And I was like, Kat, you're a dick. Like, you've had so long to do this.
The thing is, it's just like human nature
to
do that.
And we need it. Like, for some reason we need that pressure, but the good sort of pressure with the deadline, not the pressure. There's a difference. There's a deadline pressure, and then there's the pressure we set upon ourselves.
A really good thing is to do is externalize it. It's like if I told you, the podcast will be out by next week. Yeah. Then it's like.
Then it's got to be out by next week.
Yeah,
you've gone and
you know
said
what I
it
mean?
now.
Like, I'm like, oh, okay.
But internally, your brain's going, well, I have to get up and edit this, and I've got to do this, and that's different pressure, I'd say, than the deadline pressure. So 100%.
But I mean, for something that like the podcast isn't set in stone, I could then say to you, oh, it'll be out by next week, and then I've externalized that.
So then it's like, it's kind of like a deadline that
you're
you've
expecting
set.
it. And
Expectations.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if it's not, I'll be like, yo, where we at? No, I'm kidding.
Where's the podcast, bitch?
I won't put that pressure on you. I will not put that pressure on you. So yeah. But no, it is so true. So true. Just trying to think.
Cool. Anything we missed? I feel like there's going to be around two. I've enjoyed this one.
It's been good.
It's a long podcast.
It is.
2 hours and 2 minutes.
Shit. Yeah, but my jingle's in there somewhere. I'm setting up a podcast, listen to meow.com. Totally kidding. Don't know what I'm doing.
I do think you should make content though.
Yeah, I do want to.
Just talking.
Like, and so I've thought about this. And
make an edit video, make some cool B-roll to it. And bang.
So I got a little ring light. I've started. I'm getting a ring light.
Very bougie.
I'm very bougie. But you've got to start small here, Ed.
Yeah.
Like, you know. And I have thought
TikTok
about
dances.
this, and a lot of people have said that like you should create content and like kind of, you know, speak.
You should literally just do it like a subject matter.
Yeah.
Done. So it's like sleep. Let's talk about sleep.
Yeah.
Done.
Boom. But like,
let's talk about being too skinny.
Yeah.
Done.
Small snippets.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do agree.
Bigger. 5, 6, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
7
like
minutes.
when I say small snippets, like bites. Let's say
Yeah, yeah,
bite size, like a, you know, like you say, a couple of minutes where it's
And do it
not
on YouTube.
on YouTube.
Monetize it.
Like I don't need a jingle. I'm still
You
still
don't
waiting
need
for
a
you
jingle.
I want a jingle. You're gonna have to come up with a jingle for me. Ding ding ding. I didn't know it was
That
jingle
sounds like
bells.
that sounds like the Prodigy theme tune.
It was jingle bells. It was like, but yeah.
Ding, ding,
Can we get
ding,
this
ding,
in there?
ding. What?
My jingle.
Your jingle?
Yeah, at the beginning there.
Which one was it?
I don't know.
Have you done it?
No, I've not done my jingle. We're gonna quickly.
What is your
come up-
jingle?
Okay, what is the jingle? There we go. That's it. There we go. Done it. Nailed it.
By Cat.
Yeah. by Cat. Exactly. by Cat. by Cat.
By Cat.
There we go. Oh no, it sounds like ABBA. I'm not a massive ABBA fan. No. Okay, we're out.
Favorite
Okay.
workout tune?
Oh. Well, depends what I'm doing. If I'm lifting heavy, we're like punk rock. Bam, 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 bam. Although, controversially, I found that when I was doing technical lifts, if I put something more classical on, it calmed me a lot more. There you go. If I'm just working on technique, it kept me calm. But if not, I listen to anything.
Yeah.
What's your go-to?
Drum bass.
Oh, I do love drum and bass.
I
Like
love
if it's
drum
like
bass.
a sweaty workout,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
pew, like off we go.
And especially if it's like a mix, but then you like sometimes they just drop into like a slow song and you're just like about to like
Yeah.
do like an incline bench press and you're like
You're like that, you know. I need the drop and I need it now. Yeah, 100. It's 100%. Like drum bass, anything really. Like, but if it's breaking point and things are getting emotional, punk rock.
Oh,
It's
nice.
like we're talking like
Yeah.
Fall Out Boy.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
you
My
know.
Chemical Romance. Sort of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Like come at me.
Teenagers or whatever. Like.
Yeah, all of those. Like
yeah. Oh, that one.
exactly. Like kind of get me going there. But yeah, that's it. I think we've hit on quite a lot.
Yeah. If people want to find out more about you, where can they go?
They can go to my Instagram, cat understood. Oh my god, they can't go there. Don't go there. I don't know where you'll end up. Could be on the what's that? Is it the dark web? Is that what they call it? Yeah, that's the dark web. I don't know. Oh god, help! They can find me at cat with a C, by the way. Underscore. And why can't I say underscore?
You can say it there, but